It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Yeah, welcome to the Tuesday edition of Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Ermanni today. Braylon Edwards back on the desk, and Maz in his big comfy chair, as always. Thank you to everybody that's watching right now on woodwardsports.com and the newly added fox2detroit.com, our new partnership with them. Thank you guys for watching there. Make sure you get involved in the chat, part of the conversation. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Flannel Sam is in the sound booth, Fletch is in the TD booth, and Braylon, I mean, we weren't able to catch up with you yesterday, but I really just want to dive into how this weekend was for you and how you felt about the Lions now on a 2-game winning streak. I wasn't on the air yesterday, so I got a lot to say about all that too. But how you feeling, man?
Feeling better. I mean, this is that time of year where you go from summer to fall, then fall to winter, and a lot of times people get sick, sore throats, things of that nature. So just got to step up the things I was doing during COVID. I was drinking apple cider vinegar, the lemon, the turmeric, drinking a lot of water, getting greens in my system. I feel like I got away from that over the last year, so got to get back on track. But I'm here today talking about the Detroit Lions, talking about Michigan State. Hey, it's 2 weeks in a row that all three teams have gotten a win. That's interesting. But then also with the Detroit Lions, good job to Dan Campbell, the Detroit Lions. They got a win on the road. His first one. Congratulations, Coach. Hope it's the first of many. They got it done. And the big thing about it is you see plays, you look at Aiden Hutchinson. I think one of the big things we keep talking about all year is like when Aiden Hutchinson is going to show the number 2 pick. Yep. When is Aiden Hutchinson going to show that? A lot of people say, oh, you got to give him time. He was injured. Yeah, I understand that, but the big thing about it, when you draft a guy number 2, and you say a guy is the number 1 player in the draft, which Aiden Hutchinson was ranked as, you want to see it on the field. Like, you want to see it all game long. You want to see it first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. I think you're starting to see it. He's making plays in multiple quarters. He's making plays in big-time situations on the red zone. Like that stop where he came around, pursued it, got the running back with the slam. Like, that's the type of stuff you look at. When you say number 2 overall, that's what I'm talking about. And that looked damn good.
Yeah, and not only is he making plays when it's his job to make plays, he's making plays for other people too. Like that Jeff Okudah interception doesn't happen without Aiden Hutchinson dropping back and causing that. And just like the week prior against Aaron Rodgers, that interception that he had, it was a very intellectual play for him to fall off like that. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. It's exciting to see Aiden Hutchinson come around the way he has over the past couple games. My question to you, when you got into the NFL, the game's moving very fast, right? Yeah. Like it's like next level speed, obviously. How long did it take you to be like, all right, I'm a little more comfortable at this level?
I think the big thing for me, I probably started getting comfortable towards, because you remember I tore my ACL in December of my rookie year, so then I had to go through that process and get back on the field. I probably got comfortable in terms of before the injury. Maybe towards the end, like right around in November, December, then I get injured, and then I had to get back through the injury and come back, so that took me a year. But, it takes some time, especially for me, because the coaches have to have confidence in me as a wide receiver to get the quarterback to give me the ball, to depend on me in third down situations. Defense, I think it's a little different because you're reactionary. You're just going. Hey, go get the quarterback. Hey, drop back and coverage. So I think Aiden's starting to come in that. I think a lot of that, too. I think it's getting healthy. I think people downplayed the injury after the Washington Commanders game. He wasn't the same, kind of like he was out there on one leg. I think now he's healthy. Now he's making some plays. Now he's seeing himself make plays. Right. A large part of that too, Maz and Stick, is to make plays, to feel comfortable, to be in there. You got to see it. You got to see yourself do it. You got to see yourself have some consistency. You got to watch and break down film and say, oh man, I did notice that it was going to be this. I did drop off and read that screen right. I did take on the right technique to beat this double coverage. And I think slowly but surely, number 97 seeing that success, man, and he's looking damn good.
Yeah, and you could tell he's learning. And that's what you want out of a player. You don't want to see them continually make the same mistake over and over and over. And to your point, week 1, he may have gotten caught up chasing the quarterback and losing his contain. Now you're not seeing that out of him. He's playing very poised. He's playing his position. He's not trying to do too much. And that's what I think he was guilty of early in the season, trying to be Mr. Everything to everybody. It's like, no, you're the defensive end. Play that position as best as you can. hopefully the linebacker has your back. Don't feel that you got to cover his job too.
And then think, like you said, it's in order to have success, in order to see, you have to see things a couple times so that you can have familiarity with it. Like when you're familiar, oh, okay, you know what? I've seen this before. I got an inkling that this might be coming next. You look at Aiden Hutchinson making plays against the Philadelphia Eagles in week 1. He's playing against Jalen Hurts, a running quarterback. He's playing against a guy that is lights out at this point. That team is much better than you are. Their offense to your defense.
Right.
And you're young. You're trying to figure it out. You see it again a little bit when you play against the Seattle Seahawks and how they play zone, and you're starting to see it, and you're starting to say, okay, I'm starting to get familiar with it. Now you're going against a team in Chicago. Justin Fields is a guy that they're running out the backfield a lot too. So you're trying to go back to what happened in that Philadelphia Eagle game. What do I know about this? The way they run their offense. How is Justin Fields similar to Jalen Hurts? And now you're seeing things, and before it happens, you can already call out and kind of have an idea or an inkling what that team is going to do. And then you see the success that he has on the red zone, and then at the end of the game with the sack.
When you're in a locker room like the Lions have right now, obviously they've won a couple games here in a row, but they've left a couple games on the table.
Yeah.
Is that conversation being had amongst the players like, man, if we would have closed out against Minnesota, we'd be sitting at this record? Oh, if we would have done this? Or is it just, that's behind us, we got to go 1-0 in the game in front of us?
Those conversations never end. Like,
okay.
They never end.
Right.
They never end. You know, they can win the rest of the games this season, and it's still going to be, damn, if only we could have did this against Seattle. Man, we were right there against Philly. Man, the Minnesota game, we gave that back to them. You know, there's always going to be that level of that. But with that being said, I don't think they're letting those games beat them anymore. Like, I think now you put yourself in a situation when you're having those conversations in the locker room, it's like, yo, look, this is true, but hey, look, man, we beat Green Bay. We beat Chicago on the road. That's 2 divisional foes, same conference. We beat them on the road. We beat them back-to-back. Let's just take this momentum and let's move this thing forward. Let's see how we can finish out the year. So you're going to talk about it, but I think you're also going to have the presence of mind and say, look, that was in the past. Let's keep this train rolling.
Yeah, I'm glad they're able to move on from it. Maz, what you smiling about over there? I saw you check in the WoodwardSports.com chat and got a little grin on your face.
Well, why don't you look at the sports chat? Why don't you give it a look and see why I'm laughing?
Well, what are they talking about?
They're saying, where's Maz? And they're like, a bunch of people, where's Maz? I just wrote, I'm here, Stick doesn't give a bleep.
No, you're going to start this early with me, man? We're going to start this early, Maz?
I'm just sitting here.
Literally, the third word out of my mouth when we started the show was Maz.
I don't know what to say. Hey. I'm just looking at the chat. That's all.
Hey,
having some fun with the people.
Hey, you two, don't start that, okay?
Did Maz call in sick when he found out Stick was a sub today? Steven put that in the WoodwardSports.com chat.
That is funny.
No, me and Maz have a very healthy relationship. We just disagree on a lot.
Everything.
The weekend was fun, though. Like, getting back to the weekend being fun. The weekend was fun in terms of watching the plays. You know, not Michigan, that doesn't matter, but watching the Lions, watching the NFL in general. A lot of teams won that you didn't think were going to win. A lot of teams lost on the other side of that. But man, that Minnesota, that Minnesota Bills, man. I know, Maz. I was very interested to get your take on that. I know you're the go back and watch games over and over. You love the NFL. Maz, talk about with that game, how does that rank in terms of a regular season game, and then obviously the catch that arguably is the best catch of all time.
Listen, we were so lucky on Saturday to have Fox on.
Yeah.
You got the Lions beating the Bears. You got the Okuda interception. After they wrap that game up, what do we get? Bonus coverage of the Vikings and the Bills. And we see the best part of that game. I don't think we did see the catch. Did we get a chance to see the? I think we did. We did see the catch. I had it on pause at the time. I went back and looked
because Anson and I were doing the post game live from here for the Lions, but we kept having to break from the post game to check out. And at one point, I'm like, man, people are here to talk about the Lions win, but that game just sucked everybody in.
Even Dan Campbell during his press conference was talking. All of a sudden, he looked. He went, "What's going on over there? What's He said that he was checking out that game as well. It was an unbelievable game, and then you get the Packers and Cowboys going to overtime. You couldn't get a better Sunday.
Called that, by the way. I told you it's going to be the Packers
back,
in that game.
baby. They're back. Look out.
It was a fun game.
They're back. Come on.
Look out.
Here we go.
Christian Watson.
Yeah,
he's already been downgraded on the injury report, so that's not a good look.
And that's why the NFL is so unique. That's why you got to play the game, because you look at where the Green Bay Packers were a week before against the Detroit Lions, and how bad Aaron Rodgers played, and all that. And then you look at what they did or what they were able to do against the Cowboys. Week to week, it changes.
He said it was rock bottom.
It was
rock bottom.
It was absolutely rock bottom, and it was rock bottom for a couple of reasons. And no, it wasn't just rock bottom because it was the Detroit Lions. It was rock bottom because Aaron Rodgers wasn't Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Rodgers is the first time I ever saw like everything affect him. Yep. Usually Aaron Rodgers has a cutoff point. Usually Aaron Rodgers will talk about a girlfriend, politics, immunization, what's going wrong with the team, who's not getting paid or who should be getting paid. But once he gets to 1 o'clock on a Saturday, or once he gets to 8 p.m. on Monday, like all that's gone, and he's able to play football and he's able to focus. It was the first time that he let everything seep in, and he just looked bad all the way around. But going back to that Minnesota game, it was a lot of excitement. I mean, you look at the run by Dalvin Cook to get them start to come back.
Then the drop pass though by Dalvin Cook.
Then the drop pass by Dalvin Cook.
Then the fumble.
The fumble. Then the catch, the touchdown. Then you get the fumble by Josh Allen. Like it was nonstop, and then even overtime. Like even the overtime shit. Like you think that they got the ball. You think
they're gonna go down and score.
It's over.
Yeah.
Then they stop them, and it just went back and forth. So it was a very action-packed day, especially in those games. And if you're asking, the Justin Jefferson catch is number one all the time. Odell is two. If you're asking the way, and this is why I rank it like such.
I think Tyree is two.
No, if you want to do that, I'll break it down for you. It's like this. Tyree is the luckiest. Like, because Tyree was all luck. He threw his hands up, he caught it, he had on his helmet, and he got...
With Rodney Harrison on him.
He got lucky.
And it had the most on the line.
Yeah, but that's why I'm taking out what was on the line. So if you take out what was on the line just to catch, David Tyree's catch is luck, and it still doesn't beat those other two. The reason why I would say most people still think Odell's is better than Justin Jefferson is because of this. You know how I give you an example. Remember All-Star Slam Dunk Contest with Vince Carter? Remember the infamous one, right? Remember he did the dunk when he put his whole forearm. He was the first one to put his whole forearm in the rim.
Yep.
But when it first happened, nobody could fully see it. Nobody knew what he did. Nobody knew what it was, and it kind of was like, wait, what's going on? And then you see the replay, and it's like, I can't believe he just did that. But remember his first dunk that he did, the reverse 360 windmill. You saw that from Odell Beckham, where you saw the whole catch. It was him. It was Brandon Carr. Brandon Carr kind of moves out the way. So you saw the entirety of that poetry in motion. So for your eyes, it's like, oh, yeah, it's Odell. But once you watch Justin Jefferson on the replay, and once you took into account how hard it was, the degree of difficulty, catching it off balance, taking the ball with one hand from somebody that had two hands on it, making sure the ball didn't hit the ground through the finality of the catch. Like, once you see it in replay and really break it down, I'm not talking about the moment, just the catch and what it took. That catch is the hardest level of difficulty I've ever seen in terms of a guy meant to catch it and did catch it.
How strong are his hands?
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, I would not want to shake that guy's hand.
That's
a crusher.
He's ridiculous, man. It's so crazy that you have Minnesota, you have Stephon Diggs, Buffalo, playing against Minnesota and Justin Jefferson. They basically didn't sign Stephon Diggs back, knowing that he was going to be, like, he at that time was already a top 5 wideout and would only get better. They didn't sign him back because they wanted to draft the kid out of LSU. They knew they were getting one or the other, and they got Justin Jefferson.
What the hell happened to Thielen?
They just don't go to him anymore. They don't go to him anymore.
I want to know because he's on my fantasy. I did the dumbest trade ever.
But, I mean, when Diggs was there, Thielen and Diggs were a 1-2 combo. Yeah. Now it's just Jefferson.
Yeah.
The way I read it and watching the game, kind of bring it down a little bit, Stick, it's a great question, Maz, and it's a great question. But if you know is this, Thielen's been injured. Now, since Stephon Diggs, he's been injured almost every other year. Those injuries are starting to take a toll because when I watch him, he's not getting the same separation. Like when Stephon was there, not only was Stephon good, just like Justin Jefferson, but Thielen was faster. Thielen had more separation. Thielen was open more. Thielen was a weapon more. Now, he's not necessarily getting that separation. Now he's just a dude. Now he's not necessarily getting open. Now he's just a guy. I think that's more so what it is. I think the injuries are starting to catch up with Adam Thielen a little bit.
Well, Justin Jefferson, clearly the Cadillac of wide receivers in the NFL. And if you want a new Cadillac, there's only one place for you to go. That is Les Stanford in Dearborn. And if you're thinking of one, Les Stanford's going to take care of your first payment. That's right. They will take care of your first month payments. You could be whipping around in that brand new Cadillac. And it's real easy. Just go to lesstanford.com right now. Or, like I said, stop by their dealership in Dearborn right there off Michigan Avenue. Plus, they also got some other stuff going on right now. $500 in cyber cash on all Chevy Chevys as well. So you're looking to get a new car, only one place to go. Les Stanford. Find new roads.
Find them.
At work and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment's got everything you need to get the job done. If you got a big project coming up, Alta Equipment has got you covered. Give them a call today at 1-844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz live on WoodwardSports.com and Fox2Detroit.com. Thank you guys for playing along in the chat as well. We see you, and we'll definitely get to all your comments. And thanks for all the love and all the Maz hate in the chat. I love it.
No, I think it's the opposite.
No. I'm not that I'm keeping track, but I counted 7 for me and 3 for
really?
you. So,
Damn
yeah,
it.
not that I'm keeping track.
I got to go back and look.
I gotta get you guys some boxing gloves or a bowling ball or something.
Bowling ball. I'm not going to box
we
it.
got to have this out, man.
How about, will you do the fat sumo suits?
No.
Can we
That
fat
would be
sumo
fun.
suit?
I'm not going against you.
I got the reach advantage, that's for sure.
Maz is lower to the ground, though. He's got
That's
That's my only
is
chance.
a bowling ball.
That's my only chance.
There you go.
Flannel Sam in the sound booth. We have Fletch in the TD booth. A story that obviously was a big story 2 weeks ago. Not a lot of people love my take on it, that boys will be boys, and fights in tunnels have been happening since the beginning of time. Everybody kind of got very emotional about it. And the further we move away from it, I think people have calmed down a little bit, but there's starting to be a lot of news coming out and a lot of reports about people that were on the Michigan State sideline before the fight even took place, saying that the culture was to fight, to hurt Michigan, to take cheap shots, to do a lot. Maz, you found this article. Can you describe a little bit of it?
Yeah,
and then,
of course.
Braylon, we definitely want to get your take on it because, A, you've been a part of this rivalry. B, you've been on sidelines before where I'm sure it's gotten chippy. And C, I just want to know how you responded in those situations. But kind of give us a synopsis
Yes,
of this.
it's John U. Bacon, who is a friend of the show, New York Times best-selling author, podcast. Let them lead.com. Check that out. And John basically got some great information from some terrific eyewitnesses that said the Michigan State sideline during that Michigan game was filled with hate. He started his column by saying what we've been saying. There's been too much hate in this rivalry the past few years, and we'll put up the tweets as we go here. Fletch will put them up for you. But it basically was go after Corum, break his leg, go after J.J. McCarthy, break his arm, end his career, bleep, 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 you ref. And these were some Michigan assistants as well as other people that were on the sidelines. And John just spoke of the Big Ten really not doing their job. Kevin Warren, his son, plays for Michigan State. Kevin Warren is the commissioner of the Big Ten. And the Big Ten really has not stepped up and done what they're supposed to do. And like the old story says, never let a one-day story become a two-day story. It's now 2.5 weeks. We're still talking about it, Braylon.
Yeah, we're still talking about it. It's not a good look for Kevin Warren in the Big Ten. This is something that should have been nipped in the bud about 2 weeks ago, or it's something that should at least been handled in a certain way so they're after results. You know that whatever track that they're on, they're going to get results and get them done. I don't believe they've done that, and now that's why 2.5 weeks, we're still trying to figure out what's going on from a from a Washington County Sheriff's Department point of view, what's going on with that, from a Big Ten point of view, from a Michigan State versus the Big Ten, what's going on with that. There are a lot of factors that we don't know. Now, going back to your original question, man, just talking about does it happen to stick too? Those things happen. Coaches talk about, but it's more so along the lines of within the game. And I think that's where you're seeing the problem is back a couple of years ago when I played, et cetera, like coaches would say stuff like, yeah, you go out there, you get after them. We want to take it to them. We want to pound them. We want to inflict pain. But I think it's also under the understanding for players at that time, yeah, it's all that within the rules of the game. It's all that within the hash marks of the field. It's all that during regulation to the end of the game. Like, it was never a thing where we're like, oh, yeah, I know coach really means I'm going to go out there like Cobra Kai and sweep the leg.
Right.
Like, I'm going out there and sweep the leg, or I'm going out there to do something cheap by any means necessary to inflict pain on the opposition. I think there was always respect, and we always knew that coaches were saying within the field of play. Look at the Lamar Woodley play against Drew Stanton in 2004. Lamar Woodley slams Drew Stanton. It was a legal hit. It was a damn good tackle. Drew Stanton goes to the ground hard, and he messes up his shoulder. That's within the realm of the game. There was nothing hard or extracurricular about that. This is now a situation where with social media and the hate that Michigan players and Michigan State players see for the rivalry, for the coaches against the coaches, for analysts against the players. And that was a big thing. Ryan and I came out and said, I'm done talking about the players. Like, I'm strictly talking about the game, the facets around the game, and the coaches. I have no need to talk to players anymore because that's not my job, and we shouldn't be doing that. That's turned to real hate. And I think you saw that they boil over in that locker room. That was hate that you saw.
Yeah. One of my thoughts is, if the fight doesn't happen in the tunnel, does all the sideline chatter just become sideline chatter, and now it's not such targeted, and now it's not such a real thing? Because it came to fruition is why everyone's like, oh, because, I mean, like you said, that type of talk happens often. Not every game, and all of that, but because of the altercation in the tunnel and it becoming a real physical bout like that, now it's like, oh man, they were encouraging this the whole game, when to me, if it didn't happen, it may have just gotten in the wash of, hey, it's part of the rivalry. Before we get to you, Mez, if you have a short point, I was going to read some of the things that were said.
I got a short point on that.
Go ahead.
I'm thinking the opposite of you, obviously.
Okay. Oh, surprise, surprise.
The reason the tunnel happened is because of what happened on the sideline. So the reason that it went into the tunnel, started on the field. After the game, the referees all stayed on the field trying to break up the fights. Yeah. It just escalated, just kept going into the tunnel. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, they're getting reports of guys that were on the sideline, and some of the witnesses were writing and said, while working on the Michigan State sideline, I heard many other coaches, players, and staff yelling and encouraging their players to aim and tackle Michigan running back Blake Corum at the knees to, quote, end his career. While I can't identify specifically who was saying it, I know from a turnaround a few times that it was yelled, and I saw it was a mix of players on the bench and MSU coaching staff saying, quote, tackle him at the knees, end his career. And then he goes on to talking about there was also unprecedented amount of trash talk of J.J. McCarthy was running the ball. I heard MSU staff members yelling, break his effing arm to the MSU sideline while still using over-the-top vulgarity when there was only 1 minute left in the game. Says, Mel Tucker spent the entire game arguing with officials. He looked agitated, never accepted any of the officials' explanations. Yeah. So these are reports. No, they're not putting their name to the reports, though. I hate.
You always got to take with 2 grains of salt when you get it that way. Yeah,
because this could come from any dad, anywhere,
I will say this.
At any time.
But John Eubank is a respected
Did John's now man. John also said he heard these things as well, or he just commented with people that had heard them?
He got these from multiple excellent witnesses.
So with that,
not fly-by-night people.
Yeah, he concludes by saying this. The witness says, I will say this, that was the most toxic, hate-filled sideline I have ever been a part of, and it starts with the head coach, and the staff and the players followed his lead. Do you think that's a fair shot at Mel Tucker?
No apology yet.
That is no apology from Mel Tucker?
Nothing.
Oh, 100%. You know what? I think it's a fair shot, and I've been very, very fair to Mel Tucker, seeing as I know him as a person. I've talked about it, even when this thing first came out, I talked about the type of man that Mel Tucker was and what he probably instills into his kids. But I think it's fair. First thing I talked about in terms of coming in after the situation happened and after Mel Tucker had a chance to take the podium, he never apologized. Like, he never apologized. Like, he never apologized to the individuals that went through that. He never apologized to Michigan particularly. He apologized for the behavior of his players.
Right.
He apologized to Michigan.
I'm sorry you got offended by what I did.
There you go.
That type of apology.
I think this is something that he should have apologized for. And I think it's something that could have helped nip this in the bud or take it down a different road. Going back to what you said, there's always been a level of that in terms of the back and forth with rivalries or back and forth. There's always been coaches that we want you to get after the asses, things like that. Like, that's talk. That's players speak. But if this is indeed what was said, to this level, if this is what's going on, then this is on Mel Tucker. You can't let your staff say things like this. You can't be a staff talking about directly, let's break his leg, let's injure these guys, saying that this is real. You can't, these aren't things that you can have happen, because now these players don't know how to separate, apparently, because in the locker room, that looked malicious, it looked vicious. Like, I've been in a lot of games against a lot of rivals.
That's why I love your perspective.
A lot of rivals, and I've never seen anything like it. Like, I promise you. In 2003, we played Ohio State. Ohio State, they were number 2 in the country. They were undefeated. No, they were one loss, but they were number 2 in the country. They were going back-to-back national championship game. They came here and they stumped on the M before the game. And then we saw them in the tunnel before the game. Yeah, we got back there. We were in their faces. We were chirping. But we knew at the end of the day, we go out there and settle all that on the field. Then when the game was over, we still hate Ohio State. There was no handshakes and all that love. But when we got in the tunnel, they went left, we went right. Michigan State and Notre Dame, the list goes on. You see this. I've never seen a situation where at the end of a game, after a loss, it turns into this. I've even seen teams fight before the game started.
Right.
You see that at Clemson and Death Valley. You see that all the time.
Florida State, Miami.
Remember that South Carolina, Florida game? I think it was during the field and helmets were flying. You see it on the field, but you see it as a team thing. Never seen anything like I saw with the tunnel situation.
Who stopped the Spartan logo years ago?
Devin Bush.
Yeah.
But that was only because they walked through him. Like, they walk through when they do when they hold hands, they walk through him, so he stomped it up.
Let's face it, it's getting worse and worse.
This is true.
And
That's
worse.
a good point. That's another lead up. Like, it started with the comments, obviously in 2008. It's Mike Hart, and every year from there,
D'Antonio took this to the next level. By the way, he did.
He did, but Michigan
Mel
State
Tucker smoking that cigar and took it to the next level.
Well. He added the fire.
Yeah. Michigan State needed that fire, though. They needed that tough attitude, because they were getting pushed around by Michigan for a long time. Now, roles changed over the past 10 years. They can't say that anymore. But, you need that hard-ass coach to come in.
I get it.
And, I didn't play at the level Braylon did by any stretch of the imagination, but when I was in high school, we called our defense the headhunters. Because we were out there to take off heads. True. Not that we were actually trying to murder people and decapitate people, though, but that was the mentality that you need to have. So it's a very...
We could hit like that back then, too. It wasn't no head calls.
And it's a very fine line to walk, though, between putting that title, I'm a headhunter, and actually going out there and trying to break someone's neck.
I think it goes back to this, and this is why I say I give Mel Tucker blame, and he has to correct this, and it's something he has to get done. Although I'll be giving him some flowers his last 2 wins when we start talking about Michigan State in this past 2 weeks. But you got to instill in the kids the respect for the rival. Like, you instill the respect, but at the same time, you still instill the hate. Like, that's what coaches in these big rivalries, that's why they've been so good. Whether it's, Lloyd Carr, whether it's Mark D'Antonio, or whether it's, and the list goes on, it's because you instill that level of dislike, disgust, like the colors, like, hell, the school down south, they won't even mention Michigan's name. They don't even have they never put
no letter M.
Exactly, no letter M down there. Like, there's genuine hate from petty. Ohio State.
So petty.
But it doesn't matter who's been the head coach of Ohio State, whether it's been Ryan Day, whether it's been Urban Meyer, whether it's been Cooper, whether it's been Jim Tressel, there's always been respect from that school for us, and it's always been respect from Michigan to Ohio State. Now, we hate them and they hate us, but there's always a level of respect, and the kids in the rivalry all feel like, to this day, I already got guys that played at Ohio State, like now, and I talk to them, and it's nothing but respect. It's nothing but love. We start talking about football, it gets a little hairy.
That's what it says also in the story by John Yu. It says Ohio State and Michigan don't have that kind of back talk. Yeah, they don't like each other, but there's respect, and they don't talk to each other. They just want to win the game.
Yeah.
And Ohio State owns them. Let's face it.
Yeah, listen, it should always stay between the lines. And to me, that's the beautiful part about sports is you can line up against someone for 60 minutes and punch them right in the face. But when the game's over and it's decided, there's zeros on the clock, you shake hands and move on. I mean, if Darren McCarty could shake hands with Claude Lemieux, nothing's that serious, right? Nothing's that serious.
You,
the only thing that you should take that serious is your hair. And that's where Lady Jane's comes in. Precision haircuts all around the Metro Detroit area and all around the country. So make sure if you are looking for that haircut, you want to sit down, you want to get treated like a king, get that shoulder massage and that beautiful haircut, you find yourself a Lady Jane's because you can walk in anytime and leave looking wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
Thanksgiving is all about family and friends. That's why Woodward Sports wants to send you and your crew front row for the Thanksgiving Day football game.
Easy there. Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
That's right, you and 3 people that you're thankful for sitting in row number 1. So close you can hear the action, smell the excitement, and taste the glory of Detroit football. All you have to do to enter is retweet or share our post on Twitter and IG and tag 3 of your friends or family. If all 3 of those people are following Woodward Sports too, and we pick your name, you and your crew will all get the best seats inside Ford Field. So hop on Twitter and Instagram and tag your crew. And we'll see you Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. Brought to you by Lady Jane's and Custom Health Centers.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Yeah, it is back. It went away for about a month so they can completely redo it. The Monroe Street Midway. You can shop, you can eat, you can play. They're going to have ice slides. They're going to have this thing called puck putt where you're playing putt putt with a putter or with a hockey stick like Adam Sandler used to do in Happy Gilmore.
There you go.
Bunch of fun stuff for the entire family to do downtown at the Monroe Street Midway. They also got the Cadillac Lounge and a ton of other great things for you to experience like winter bumper cars, the giant slide, and more. So go check it out right now, deckedoutdetroit.com. Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz right here on woodwardsports.com and fox2detroit.com. Thank you guys for being a part of the chat. We appreciate you. We have Flannel Salmon here. We have Fletch. And then shout out to Chubby Charlie's for yesterday bringing that pickle pizza for National Pickle Day.
There you go.
Missed out, Braylon, man. We were eating some pickle pizza up in here. It was damn good.
Those are good pies, man.
Oh, damn good.
I love pickles. I absolutely love pickles. I actually had some fried pickles on maybe like last Thursday or Wednesday or something that were randomly good. But pickles on a pizza, I gotta try it.
Delicious.
I gotta try it.
Absolutely delicious.
I take it wherever. I love pickles, so anything.
It sounds
I don't mind
weird,
trying,
but then you have a bite and you're just like, wait a minute. Next thing you know, you're 4 slices deep.
Their plain
Pickled
cheese pie
cabbage.
was outstanding, too.
Yeah. Good for Chubby Charlie's.
pie. Whenever you hear pie, you know they're serious about pizza. Am I right, Miles? Yeah.
That's a fact.
Maz takes his pizza very seriously.
New Jersey, New York guys, man. That's what they do out there.
It'll be my last meal.
They do pies extremely well.
Really? That would be your last meal if you had to pick today?
From Hoboken, Benny Tadino's, large pie, house pie, and a fountain Coke.
And a fountain
Nothing
Coke.
like it.
What would be your last meal?
Nothing like it.
That's what I was just thinking, man. I don't know. There's this Steak Diane at the place called Boodles over here at 11 Mile and 75.
Mushrooms on the steak.
Yeah, with
That
like
sounds
Dijon
good.
mustard, filet.
How about
Bruno.
some Wagyu or Wagyu?
Yeah.
Wagyu.
What about you,
Wagyu.
Braylon? What's your on your deathbed?
It's fun. I was just thinking about this. Not dying. Not dying. But my favorite food has always been Asian fusion, man. Like I know what I know what I like. I'm sweet and sour rice. Shrimp fried rice, sweet and sour chicken. I'm shrimp lo mein. You know, I love shrimp, as you can see, man. But just crab ragoon. I mean, some version of one of my Asian fusion meals, whether it's Japanese, Korean, or Chinese. Some version of that.
What about you, Flannel Sam? You haven't chimed in much today. What you eating out for your last meal?
My last meal, this is a Springfield, Illinois delicacy from which I'm from. It's called a horseshoe. It's where you put like a burger and fries all on the plate and you just sprinkle it with cheese sauce. It's phenomenal. You guys should try it sometime.
Wait, what? You put a burger on top of fries?
You put fries and a burger all together
With
on
the
a
bun?
plate. Yes, on a bun, and you just like put cheese sauce all over it. It's very, very good. It's a heart attack on a plate, but it's damn good.
I tell you like this: you keep eating those, you'll be eating one of those real soon.
That is your
My
last
last
meal.
meal will happen
is
real
coming.
quicker than I hope. So.
Your last meal is coming.
And what about you, Fletch? I know you got to adjust your mic real quick.
Fletch is going to have a coffee.
Boy, I probably would get a coffee with it.
That's fine.
You know, there's a place over by my house in Clarkston that's called Honcho. I'd probably get like a street taco, some chicken street tacos. I love those
There you
things.
go. Walking taco.
Maybe a Corona with it too.
There you go.
There you go. I
Down
love
with
that.
that.
All right, well,
I'm hungry.
let us know.
know, right? Now I'm
WoodwardSports.com chat. WoodwardSports.com chat. Let us know what you would want for your last meal. CJ Schneider saying poutine is elite.
Ooh, that is elite.
Gotta check
You
in
know,
with
that's
Fish on
Fish's
that.
last
Fish
meal.
is yeah.
That's for sure.
Fish is chicken fingers and poutine.
And
That's-
fish and chips. He
Yeah.
loves that.
and his little bars that he eats every
And
damn
his
day.
now powdered milk. You see that? That's his latest thing.
Yeah, he loves the milk in the bag.
He loves milk in a bag.
I don't know, man. I'm thinking about steak now, man. It'd be tough. It would be tough not to order. It'd be tough not to order a nice 17-ounce like Wagyu or ribeye bone in with some loaded cheddar.
You can get that from the butchery. Get that from Davey Hubbard.
Yeah, the legend
That
Dave
would be
Hubbard
tough.
at the butchery.
That
He's
would
got
be
that
tough.
Wagyu steak.
Definitely will go to heaven filled. I tell you that.
All right, back into some sports talk. Now
All right,
we're all
all right.
sitting
Here
here
we are.
hungry as hell.
Apologize.
Honchos is fire, Sam Booner says that in the
Ooh, get some good
WoodwardSports.com
nachos.
chat. Four cheese mac and cheese with honey pepper chicken from Applebee's.
Nah, you lost me with that.
Like, I love
The
Applebee's.
start of it was good, and then you named the spot. I tipped out.
A 72-ounce steak, a good old rack of ribs. CJ Schneider says
Get
that.
the Great 98 from the Great Outdoors.
Fresh gotta eat the gristle.
Oh, 98.
Gotta eat that gristle, the old 69er or whatever.
We got Mom's Lasagna from Alex Haggerty, too. Lasagna is pretty
Better
damn
than
good.
mom's spaghetti that Eminem makes.
man.
All right, let's do this. Let's talk about some high schools. Let's talk about some
We're still
college
with that too,
football.
yeah.
High school football is great. We're gearing up towards the state
How
championship.
about that Clarkson game, man? The Clarkson, was it Clarkson and
It's Fletcher's old school.
I know it was a great game. It was Clarkson and Rochester Adams. Was
yeah,
it?
and Cass Tech's putting in work too now. Cass Tech beat Dakota.
Tis the season.
Yeah, and Brother Rice lost to Martin Luther King on Friday as well.
wow.
I got to call that game.
Dante Moore.
Dante Moore turned it on, man. He put on a show in that second half.
If you're Michigan State,
Yes.
wouldn't it be worth it if you're Mel Tucker to call Magic Johnson, to call Ishbia, to call Gilbert or Gilbert's representative and say, hey, look, fellas, trying to get this thing back on track, trying to get it back on the rails. This is what I need from you. There's a kid at King High School right now that could change our program. He's the type of guy we need. He said these are the type of players that are changing programs around the country. We need him to get 1.5. Because I guarantee you, if they go in his living room and they present him and his parents with $1 to $1.5 million to go 75 miles
He ain't
up the
going to
road,
Oregon.
75 miles up the road, I'm telling you, if I'm Mel Tucker, that's the move I would make right now.
Well, Michigan was recruiting him too. Shouldn't Michigan show up with a bag man?
He doesn't want to go to Michigan.
Okay.
He doesn't want to go to Michigan. We had him in here. I'm not going to tell you reasons why, but he doesn't want to go to Michigan. Michigan State, however, would not be out the realm of possibility if they came in with an offer like that. I don't know, man.
They got the people to get him here.
He's down the road. They got a lot of connections.
And they got the uniforms to match Oregon. Oregon's got uniforms, so does MSU.
All right.
I mean, they can't go one-on-one with them, but They got lots to choose from.
Well, when Dante Moore decides to turn it on, it's impressive. You can almost tell they won the state championship last year. He was Mr. Football last year. It's almost like he's almost bored with the competition at this point. But when it was game time on Friday night, he put his shoulder down and trucked 3 defenders for the go-ahead 2-point conversion. Loved it. Loved seeing it, too. Because that kid's got a career that he's putting on the line for high school football. But when your number one dog is out there running over people like that, it inspires the rest of the squad.
How long before players are not playing in high school? Because they do it in college now. How long before players like Dante Moore are like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and sit out this senior season. I'm going to go ahead and sit out these last couple games. It's going to happen. Yeah, it is.
It's going to happen, especially with these NIL deals on the line, because now it's more of a business decision than ever.
You're 100%. Like you just said, like when the way you describe him trucking those defenders, instantly in my head, I saw Oregon like, you don't have to do that now.
But you could tell when Dante Moore did it, like, it fired him up and got him even more in the game. Like, he needed that hit because he punted the ball into the stands and stuff like that. He was fired up on Friday. It was a great game. Martin Luther King versus Brother Rice. And good season to Brother Rice. They made the playoffs with 3 wins. Everybody was crying about it, but they made it all the way to districts and sectionals. So
they play a hard schedule. That's why they made it.
I like the new MHSAA rules to where it's more strength of schedule and quality wins now as opposed to just wins to get in.
I'm glad they're not picking the playoff tonight from when Michigan's going to try to beat top 4 again.
But speaking of Michigan State won again. They beat Rutgers 27-21 for their second straight victory. We've been talking a little bit Michigan State. Do you feel that program is at least getting back on track?
I don't know about back on track, but I will say this. 2 weeks in a row, they got 2 wins. Especially after everything that they went through in terms of that they're going through still.
I'm shocked.
With the tunnel, with Michigan State, with the 4 losses in a row after last year being 11-3, with everything in Michigan State, and they're going through at East Lansing. For Mel Tucker to get, and, oh, by the way, the suspensions. Some of their best players were suspended, not even playing.
Is that a galvanizing moment for a team? Like, all right, now it's us against the world. Look at all these people that want us to fail. Look at all these guys that are calling us thugs, that are calling us all this name. Like, is that the stuff where Mel Tucker's putting that in the bag, putting it in front of them, being like, this is what the outside world thinks of you, but in here, we're family, and it coming out on the field?
Yeah, I think 100%. I think part of that is that, I think, which is not all the way true. You guys deserve to be in that situation. But that's what coaches use.
It's a mentality, though.
It's a motivating tool. Michigan State has always played best when their backs against the wall. They're the underdog. Nobody is voting for them. That's when they play their best football. It doesn't matter who the coach is at the time. So that's what you're starting to see. They won 2 games in a row with having a bunch of suspensions. Jacoby Wyndham, their best player on defense, he's not around right now. He's one of the guys that got suspended. So to get 2 wins, especially against a team in Illinois that was ranked. Illinois had 1 loss going to that Michigan State game.
That's a quality win.
That's a quality win. They had 1 loss. So to get a win like that and then backdoor with a Rutgers win, you know what I'm saying, who's a team in Greg Schiano, they fight hard. Now, I'm not saying they're a great team, but they fight hard. To get 2 wins like that at a time like this, that's big for Mel Tucker. You got to tip your cap to Mel Tucker and his staff for being able to get those wins.
Yeah, and to keep the team focused. Yeah. That's got to be tough in this situation.
To keep them engaged.
Yeah.
Because if you don't win another game, like if you lose 4 in a row, then you beat Wisconsin somehow, then you get trounced against Michigan, and then the fight happens in the tunnel. Then you finish, you get whooped by Illinois, you get whooped by Rutgers. You know Penn State's going to beat the brakes off of them because the game's at Happy Valley, because the snow game was here last year. So now as a player, you're like, man, I'm out. Like, why am I staying here? Like, we're a bad team. We got a bad coach. We can't get together. I'm out. Now these 2 wins, they buy you some players that are like, you know what?
There's something.
I'm gonna hold off. It might be something here. You know, I'm not gonna leave Mel Tucker by himself. You know what? I'm gonna stick with Mel Tucker. I'm gonna stick it out at East Lansing. So that's what you'll start to see now. Versus if they would have lost these last 2 games, it would have been a lot of transfer portal situations.
A lot of them. They're favored again this weekend by 10.5 over Indiana. That's a noon game. Michigan's playing at noon as well. So the bookmakers like Michigan State to win another one.
Yeah, well, hey. It's good. Listen, like I've said a million times on this network, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm not a Michigan fan. I'm not a Michigan State fan. I root for them both to win. I went to University of Detroit. So, to me, when all teams are winning, it's great for the state. I love when Michigan and Michigan State meet undefeated.
Last year was awesome.
Yeah, that's the way it should be, right? And this rivalry between them obviously has escalated a little beyond what it should be.
It has.
But sometimes brothers fight. I'm not saying who's big or who's little, but brothers fight.
In the words of Forrest Gump, Ish happens.
It definitely happens.
Ish happens.
You know what else happens? We're going to talk more Michigan football coming up next and also talk the top 25. But Maz, tell us about what happens when you go to Chili Peppers Tanning.
Oh, you get the cleanest salons in the D. That's the first thing, Stick. And then you got 27 opportunities because there's 27 locations, 2 right here on Woodward Avenue and more on the way. And if you join the Pepper Club, they're going to save you $5 against unlimited tanning against any competitor. You get down there, they're going to take great care of you because they have the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters is ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Time to get on board with Centron like they are on board with the Detroit Red Wings. And now, for a limited time, they have condensed all 3 of their flavors into a special edition 6-pack. Go to CentronWorld.com/Red Wings. That's how you get one of those things. And I'm going to tell you, that cranberry is definitely my favorite to go to in the morning. Love the cranberry. Good for the respiratory system as well. They have partnered with WhoopSports.com because they want to re-energize the community, man. So why don't you let them? Why don't you support them? Drink it. Live it. With Centron.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz live on WoodwardSports.com and Fox2Detroit.com. Thank you to Fox 2 for our partnership with them. You'll see some of us on their panels as well, which is going to be cool. Plus, we have Dan Miller joining us in the 3 o'clock hour, so that's coming up in about a half hour. We will have Dan Miller, which is awesome. I love Dan Miller.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
The fact that he's able to keep the faith after all these years and make it sound like it's the first Lions game he ever called is a mystery to me, and I need to ask him about how he does that and keeps the faith.
True passion, true love, true support.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
And his childhood favorite team is Washington.
Poor guy.
They win big last night. They stopped those Eagles.
Yeah, what a way to win, too,
Heineke.
on a BS
That was a great
roughing
game.
the passer call because Heineke took a knee.
That was old school NFC East, Washington and Philly game. That was a good game.
Run the ball, big tackle, hard hits, third and shorts, fourth and shorts, etc. It did remind me of the old school, the Hogs.
That kid Robinson, man, very impressive. Brian Robinson.
Heineke
shot twice this year, still playing. And I love Antonio Gibson, too. Just keep running the ball, man. I love that.
Yeah, they're finally using Gibson the right way.
Yeah.
They're trying to make him the lead power back early in the season. Now they've moved him to the little scat back.
Yeah.
As they should.
Look out. They're 5-5.
And we beat the hell out of them. Go Lions!
And they get Chase Young back this week.
They do get Chase Young back. That makes that win from the Lions a little more impressive. You look at them. But fun game nonetheless. Last night it was fun to watch. But Lions, Dan Deere, hey. Can't wait to talk to him.
How bad is Brandon Graham feeling about that penalty at the end of that game?
But here's my thing. Was it a penalty?
It was. It was a stupid penalty.
Well, that's because they have to call it. It's not a penalty.
Well,
but they have to call it.
Then it's a penalty.
But they had the way
it's a stupid rule.
He slid, but he even slid it's. I think they need to start allowing judgment calls. They need to start allowing an area of gray into the decision as opposed to stop making it so black and white.
Quarterback in the pocket, giving himself up. He had 3 things working against him. If that's outside the pocket and a run play.
Very true, but Brandon Graham also gave himself up and not tried to hit.
Poor guy. I can just imagine it in his head. Stop. You're not stopping. Oh, no, that's the game.
He's a captain.
And I love
of that
Heineke
defense.
getting up like he actually did something. It was like, like,
Yeah,
dude.
that was the part that pissed me off.
Right, like, you didn't do anything.
It's like, come on, Taylor Heineke. Like, that's like the Michigan State fans that celebrate trouble with the snap. Like,
Hey, he apologized.
I mean, you didn't do that.
He apologized after.
Because he's a good kid.
Yeah, he said, I got carried away. But you know what? People were saying Brandon Graham was trying to get that easy sack. He was trying to beat the other Eagle, I forgot who it was,
Fletcher
to get that. Yeah, to get that easy sack. So a lot of people were saying that as well.
That makes sense because if you look at it, he was full speed, and that's the problem. You got a guy, Brandon Graham, who he lives around here in the off season, but Brandon Graham's 255, 265. He's running full speed.
Tough to stop.
It's tough to stop. It's tough to slow.
That was
up.
Such a Lion-esque way to lose a game.
Yeah,
like when I was watching, I was like, man, I feel like that. Like that's a way to invent a loss, and Lions are usually good at inventing losses. They did it last night.
Yeah, this is true.
Sheila.
All right, let's talk about Michigan, man. Michigan. They're just trucking people. And earlier today, me, Flannel Sam, and Neil Rule kind of got into it about Michigan. I believe that they can go to Ohio State and win.
Oh, shocking you got into it with Neil about Michigan doing anything positive. Shocking.
And I love Neil, but like he tries to argue out of both sides of his mouth. He'll tell me that what Northwestern did. Northwestern's a very good rushing team. And I was like, yeah. Michigan's better. So if Northwestern can do it, Michigan can do it. He's like, well, the schedule, Michigan's only done it against. I'm like, well, who the hell is Northwestern done it against? So we got into all of that. But the question is, Michigan's rolling people. They're doing it with strictly the run offense.
Yeah.
The passing offense has not come together, I think, like everybody would hoped it has to this point. But they took care of business against Nebraska 34-3, outscoring opponents in the second half. The last 5 opponents, 117-3.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that Michigan has reestablished themselves as such a dominant team to where 10-0 is not good enough. It's now how you got to 10-0 and what you're doing to get to 10-0. When just 2 years ago, it was, oh my God, if we don't get 7 wins, Harbaugh needs to get the hell out of here. Are you confident in this Michigan team that this type of offense will be able to travel into an Ohio State and play well and defeat them?
Yeah, people get on my nerves, like moving the goalposts back, as they always say. And the problem with that is this, is Michigan, if you look at what they're doing, it's in rare air. You could talk about how bad the Big Ten is. Look, Michigan had no choice before the season started to become a part of ACC. Michigan had no choice to be a part of Big 12 before the season started. They have to play in the conference that they're in.
Right.
So the conference isn't good this year. That has no bearing on Michigan. Michigan is trouncing the conference. You look at the second half, all the stats you listed, running back stats by Blake Corum, you can list all these stats. They're literally a ton of top 3 stats that the University of Michigan, whether for players or whether it's a full team. With that being said, Michigan can beat Ohio State and Ohio State with the system they have in play because they've done it already. And I keep saying this, you look at what happened last year. Ohio State had the same team last year for the most part. They had 3 first-round picks at wide receiver. They had 2 bowling ball running backs that can get it done. They had C.J. Stroud, and they had the same on the other side. It's the same team. And Michigan dominated them because they dominated the line of scrimmage. They dominated on defense and offense the line of scrimmage. K. McNamara only had 162 yards passing and 1 touchdown last year. Those were his stats. Nothing special. Now, if you ask me, can they win a national championship? What you're seeing, no. The answer is no. Can they beat Ohio State? Yes, because they're not as physical as they were, and their butt got a little tight last year when you got past the 30-yard line, past the 25-yard line. Once you got in the fringe, once you got in the red zone. So yes, Michigan can win against Ohio State, but can they win a national championship against a Georgia? No. Can they win a national championship against you sneak one of these other schools?
Tennessee,
it's you don't have the belief that they can do it, and the thing that bothers me is you saw last week they actually tried to pass the ball more. Like I was watching the game, was watching JJ, I was
8
watching
for 17.
They went down the field 6 times last game. They threw intermediate passes 5 times last game.
But it's not working.
And that's what I was saying. That's the part that scared me even further is they actually addressed it. They actually tried to do it, and JJ couldn't have success. JJ didn't look comfortable in the pocket. JJ didn't look comfortable. Every throw, he's trying to lead too much. Like every throw is trying to throw on stride, so it's a beautiful, picturesque, perfect throw. listen, man, sometimes you guys give a guy a 50-50 jump ball. Like a lot of the quarterbacks that are big yards, big plays, you either one, just get the ball in their hands, or two, you just give them a chance on a 50-50 ball and let the receiver make a play.
And that was part of the debate we had, too, because the quarterbacks got brought into play. And I don't want to call Sam a Cade McNamara hater, but he's definitely a J.J. McCarthy lover, right? Is that a good way to put it? You don't hate Cade McNamara. You just think he gets a lot more credit than he should. And, like I said, I'm kind of in the middle of this. To me, J.J. McCarthy isn't the end-all, be-all that everybody thought he was. He hasn't evolved this offense. Sam, how are you feeling comfort-wise with J.J. McCarthy right now?
So with J.J. McCarthy, the thing is, everybody kind of talks that he hasn't really made this offense more dynamic. I think that has a lot to do with Jim Harbaugh, by the way. But he also hasn't turned the football over. His touchdown-to-interception ratio is 7-1, which is better than Cade McNamara, who had 15 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. And Michigan is running the football just as well as they did last year, maybe even better. The Corum and Edwards duo might even be better than the Haskins and Corum duo of last year because their offensive line is just as good. They took out Andrew Vastardis and put in a guy like Olu Oluwatimi, who's right up there for the Remington Award. So I'm very, very confident. And then you go to the other side of the ball. They're first in the nation in scoring defense. They're first in the nation in yards allowed, and they're first in the nation in rushing yards allowed. And this is the team, like Braylon said, last year against Ohio State, they won it at the line of scrimmage. And this year, their line of scrimmage, at least offensively, might even be better. And defensively, you got a guy like Mike Morris coming in who has stepped up and has become a star. They got
got an NIL deal with the lawyer Mike Morris. Have you seen those commercials?
Those are great commercials.
Those are great.
Guys like Mozzie Smith and Mason Graham are stepping up. Iabi Oki. This defense is elite. This running game is elite, just like they were last year. And Ohio State, they're not as strong up front as Michigan is. They're just not. And that, to me, is what makes me confident that they can go into Ohio State and win Michigan.
You hear Sam hitting every single pronunciation? I mean, this kid,
100%.
this kid is top of the line here.
That's the other thing that the one thing that is up for debate, or you haven't seen it yet, is the same thing as last year, kind of going into the game against, but it was at Michigan, it's the secondary. It's the secondary. DJ Turner, Sanger Still, Will Johnson, the rookie out of Grosse Pointe South. These guys haven't been tested this season. And when they go against Ohio State's got some guys. Ohio State's got some guys all across the board. They got guys that are going to be first-round draft picks, whether it's this year or the following year. So there's where it's going to get interesting. Can they get to C.J. Stroud, or can they keep the ball out of those wide receivers' hands? Because DJ Turner versus Marvin Harrison Jr., and then you got Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's going to play that game. That's going to be a Jigba. It's tough. Like that's the part. DJ Turner is a damn good cornerback. I think he was top 12 going into the season, or top 10. Sanger Still, it was offense. He was last year. He's playing offense. Now he's playing on this side of the ball. Like I said, Will Johnson Jr. is playing well for a freshman. But it's a different thing when you're going against those beasts. And as C.J. Stroud, he knows how to get the ball down the field. 384 yards and 2 touchdowns last year against Michigan.
Well, I'm worried the most about Marvin Harrison.
Are you?
I mean, he's a grown man now. Yeah. I mean, I know it's the same team, Bray, and all. Mm-hmm. And Jackson Smith and Jigba hasn't really played yet. And this could be his first game of the year, if he's even ready to play that game. But you got a grown man in Marvin Harrison Jr. And he's, I don't know, man. He's a first-round pick to me.
Yeah, but last year you had Chris Wilson.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Olave.
And Wilson.
Garrison Wilson. Yeah. You had Jackson Smith and Jigba. So, I mean, you have guys. Like, they've seen guys because they made some hell of a catches in the game last year. Talking about 50-50 balls. Like, you made some K's. Wilson, Chris Olave, they made catches.
Kept them in it.
Exactly. They kept them in it. So, they've seen that before. It's going to be interesting to see the route to Ryan Day. And also, Travion Henderson's been out for Ohio State. This past weekend, Mayan Williams looks like he
got hurt.
Yeah, he looks like he might be out. So, if you're two running backs, which is one of the biggest reasons why you stay in it with Michigan, if they're out, that spells well for Michigan.
Let's flip to the other side of the ball, though, too, for Michigan. Nicholas Duncan from the WoodwardSports.com chat says, Braylon, what do you think of the wide receiver core for Michigan? Is that part of the problem passing? Is that they're not getting the proper separation?
Yeah, it's a mix of both, man. It's a mix of quarterback. It's a mix of everything. It's a mix of quarterback. It's a mix of wide receivers themselves, and it's a mix of Harbaugh actually wanting to call those plays, which it looked like he seemed like he called them this past Saturday. they got guys that have made plays. I mean, you look at Ronnie Bell, you look at Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson's been in position to make a lot of plays this season. Ball hasn't necessarily gotten to him. Ronnie Bell has, he's dropped a couple this year, but seems to be open intermediately, not necessarily open deep. Andrell doesn't necessarily be seen to be getting by guys. You watched the game last week, and he's step for step.
Is that scheme? Is it scheme that's hurting him?
It could be. I don't know. Like, it could be wide receivers not necessarily trusting that the coaches are going to throw the ball.
We talked how the coaches are coaching these kids.
It could be 100%.
Or they're just bored because they know we're just running the ball, so I'm not going to run routes like my hair's on fire.
And this is the other thing, too. With that, you're 100% right. You add a little level to that. If I'm a guy, look at the era we live in now, Stick. We live in an era, you know what? I'm not happy or I'm not satisfied with my play on my team. What am I going to do? I'm going to transfer. A lot of these guys, if you're watching the quarterback play of JJ, whether it's Weiss or Sharon Moore or it's Harbaugh, whoever you want to put the blame on, these wide receivers, week after week after week, trust me, I know. And when I say I know, I'm telling the truth. These wide receivers are, man, they're going through the motions like they're not ready. Remember that game was Dallas? It was T.O. He dropped a pass in the playoffs, and he said, man, if they would have came to me in the first, I would have been ready. And he wasn't ready in the fourth. I'm not saying that that's excusable, but it's definitely understandable.
It's human nature,
It's
right?
human nature to not be
I'm not involved in the
and
game,
all of a sudden,
I'm not involved in the game.
Right. Yeah, so Michigan's not going to change. That's not going to change.
Will that hurt them recruiting-wise for wide receivers?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I think so, because if you start to look at it, just keep going back. Like, you don't have any quarterbacks throwing over 3,000 yards. You don't have any wide receivers getting over 1,000 each year. You don't have that. You got running back. You have running backs that are doing it. You got offensive linemen that are getting drafted early, making it happen, but not so much wide receivers. And moving forward and say wide receiver dominated position in sports now, you got to have them.
Did you hear what Harbaugh said yesterday, that Ronnie Bell's going to the NFL next year? So it's like, you got talented kids. You just got to draw it up to get them the ball. Plus, Cade's out for the year. Not that it mattered, but he's officially out for the year after having that knee surgery.
Well, one thing you don't got to argue about is a good defense. Michigan, we can argue about, but Guardian Alarm, I ain't having that conversation.
Stay out.
Because they are your local security experts, and they know about home defense better than anybody in the business. They've been doing it for about 100 years, so why would you go anywhere else? They keep up to date with all the technology. They will surveil your home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you can have that peace of mind of knowing when you're not home, your stuff is safe. And all you got to do right now is call 1-800-STAY-OUT. It's right above my head. 1-800-STAY-OUT. You call them, you let them know Woodward Sports sent you, and they will hook it up. 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Stay out. Stay out.
Thanksgiving is all about family and friends. That's why Woodward Sports wants to send you and your crew front row for the Thanksgiving Day football game.
Easy there. Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
That's right, you and 3 people that you're thankful for sitting in row number 1. So close you can hear the action, smell the excitement, and taste the glory of Detroit football. All you have to do to enter is retweet or share our post on Twitter and IG, and tag 3 of your friends or family. If all 3 of those people are following Woodward Sports too, and we pick your name, you and your crew will all get the best seats inside Ford Field. So hop on Twitter and Instagram and tag your crew. And we'll see you Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. Brought to you by Lady Jane's and Custom Health Centers.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Hey, gang, November 22nd is 99-cent Big Boy Day with the purchase of a Pepsi. What else would you get, right? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy. For more information, visit bigboy.com. They'll give you the full details and participating locations. 99-cent Big Boys.
Can't even drink.
He's a pretty instinctive player, and he picks up things pretty fast. And what's interesting is that I can still remember the first 2 days in spring practice out here when we had him running with the ones, and we threw, I think we threw 3 screens at him within, the first 4 days. And he's just sprinting at the quarterback, and they're just, it's gimmies. And just to see where he's come from there, he's figuring it out.
That is Dan Campbell talking about the growth of Aiden Hutchinson, the number 2 overall pick for the Detroit Lions last year in the draft. Welcome to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Ermanni today. That is Braylon Edwards. Maz is in the chair. Flannel Sam is here. And, of course, Fletch is here, waving as hard as he can. Kind of distract me with that beautiful hair you got over there, Fletch. And we also got to say what's up to everybody that's on woodwardsports.com and fox2detroit.com right now watching the live stream. We appreciate you guys being a part of the show. And, yeah, Dan Campbell talking about the growth of the Lions, and they're moving from the basement to, maybe the first level. The Pro Football, or what do they got? The Pro Football Talk?
Pro Football Talk.
The power rankings have come out. And the Lions are no longer 32, baby.
That's 2 weeks in a row they moved up 3 spots.
3 spots up, and now they are ahead of the Bears, sitting at number 24. The teams behind the Lions: Bears, Panthers, Steelers, Broncos, Saints, Jags, Texans, and Raiders, who I think surprised everybody by how bad they suck this season.
They suck so bad, Derek Carr cried on Sunday. Did you see that press conference?
There's no. You're allowed to cry. It's okay. Dan Campbell cried after a loss last year, so that's okay. But how do you feel?
Tears.
To me, the most interesting part about this is the team right above the Lions, sitting at 23.
The Rams.
The L.A. Rams.
Whose pick they have?
Because the Lions do control that pick, and the irony is that pick may be higher than the Detroit Lions, because Cooper Kupp, they just announced he's going to be on IR for at least 4 weeks.
He's done for the year.
He's having surgery, so he's done for the year. I don't see him coming back. But that's an interesting position. You feel it's about where the Lions should be in the power rankings, Braylon?
Looking at the teams that are under them, I would say you think. I'm trying to look at that list. Maybe the Broncos might move past them at some point.
You and those Broncos
through the rest of the year. I mean, listen, you keep saying me and the Broncos. I'm gonna tell you why. If the Broncos have scored 18 points in every game they play this year, they'd be 8-1.
Yeah,
their defense has been that good. So that's why I stay on them, because you just have to be like, yo, look, it's Russell Wilson. They'll figure it out. Like, he'll figure something out along the way to win some games. So, but other than that, I think it's fair.
How about the Vikings at number 1 over the Chiefs and Eagles? The Vikings they just know how to win. They're 8-1.
I've been on the Vikings since before the season.
You have?
Before the season started. They find ways to win.
Did you know they were going to win this way?
Yeah, but that's how they win. Like, they don't blow teams out. They win weird games. They win, close score games. They find a way to win at the end, or they find a way not to give it back enough at the end to get the victory. I think they've gotten Dalvin Cook more involved this year. That's kind of helped their offense out with Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson. He started off he started off good, but then right on game 3, he didn't do anything from game 3 to game 6. I think now they're getting him back involved. They picked up a guy that we know all too well, T.J. Hockenson. So.
Can we take our hat off to Kirk Cousins finally?
Somebody's got to give him credit.
As long as he keeps his shirt on, I'll take my hat off to him.
I tell you, man. Can he? I don't know. Is he just a winner?
Regular season, yes. Regular season
at 1 o'clock,
as long or
4:30.
4:30. As long as the game does not start at 8, and as long as it's not in the playoff, he plays well. And if you go through his track record, he wins. He has stats. He gets it done. In the playoffs, not so much. But you got to put the Vikings number 1. Who could you put over them? And I know you want to say the Chiefs, because they're number 2 for me. But I know you want to put the Chiefs up there. But
how about the Eagles?
I'd still have the Eagles. To me, I think the Vikings are the most fraudulent 8-1 team I've ever seen in my life. They squeak out victories, and that's part of the NFL.
The NFL, though.
I understand it's part of the NFL, but I believe there was a meme going around that was explaining they beat this team without this. And,
that's the NFL. Everybody does that. Now, I'm not saying the Minnesota Vikings are better than the Eagles. No, because the Eagles beat them head to head. But if you're just looking at the records, if you're looking at what they've done, you look at who they just beat last week and how they got the win, they should be number 2 on the power rankings list. Like, they should just be number 2, and then the Chiefs 3. Because at the end of the day, like Stephen A. Smith always says, the list is fluid. So the list is going to change from this week, which is week 11, to next week, to next week, to next week.
I just cannot believe the Bills handed them that game like they did. Josh Allen's one of the best quarterbacks ever to play the game.
They both handed each other the game, really, but the Bills more so, if you will.
I want to hear Flannel. Your top 3. You think the Vikings are still number 1?
I didn't say they were number 1.
I know. I'm asking Pro Football Talk only.
No, I mean, I would probably put the Chiefs. I'm a little bit biased. They played a very, very tough schedule. Patrick Mahomes is playing like the best quarterback in the NFL. He doesn't seem to miss Tyreek Hill. But, the Vikings, they just keep finding ways to win. And they just went to Buffalo, which is one of the toughest environments, and got a win. The Eagles obviously lost last night, Monday Night Football at home. I would probably go Chiefs, Vikings, Eagles at this point. But like Braylon said, it doesn't really mean anything right now. It's very fluid, and we'll just see how it plays out.
Yeah. Now, the Buffalo Bills, would you still think of them as one of the top teams in the NFL, or has the shine rubbed off?
No, I would probably say that they're still the second best team in the AFC at this point. I think that they're still the best team in the AFC East. I think they'll win that division. I think the Dolphins will fall off a little bit. And the Jets, they still have Zach Wilson as their quarterback. He's not good. That defense is really good, but Zach Wilson has actually been terrible. So
hide your mom.
Yeah. Two things about the Chiefs. One thing is, everybody always wants to they want to forget things or omit things when it's their team, which is clearly Sam's team. Don't forget they went to overtime against a Tennessee Titans team that's not good. Like at home, and this was recently. This wasn't a Colts loss 7 weeks ago. This was recently.
They've won 6 or 7, Bray.
I understand that, but also they took Malik Willis was a starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, and they got to overtime at Arrowhead. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying pipe down just a little bit. But just going back to like you said, man, everything it will unfold like it's gonna unfold. I think the Bills. But what did I say about the Bills after they played the Jets? I said the Jets
found out how to beat them.
I said the Jets have shown you how to beat.
Yeah, once it's on tape.
I said they've shown you how to beat the Bills, and look what you're watching. I said what's his name? Josh Allen has been pressed in the last 4 weeks in the NFL. Last 4 weeks, he has an interception every week. 1 week he had 2, followed by 3, followed by another one this week, and 1 that week. He also had a fumble. Like they can't run the ball. Like they can't run the ball. So teams are like, look, we know they can't run the ball. We know they can't be easy. They're either going for a home run or Josh Allen is their weapon for the run. So all we got to do is keep him off field like the Jets did, like Minnesota did towards the end of the game. Keep them off field, keep him with a chance, not a chance to go out there and win games. That's how you beat them, and you're starting to see it.
Buffalo wins that game without Jefferson.
Buffalo's in trouble, though, because even still in that game, like the way that game started.
They were supposed to fix their defense, and it's not fixed.
Exactly. Yeah. Injuries, because it has been injuries. Poyer, like you had a lot of injuries, Tre'Davious White early on, so you've had injuries. But between injuries and between that not being able to run the ball and Josh Allen, is your running? It's not looking good for them.
Well, the Lions moved up to 24 in the power rankings. Yeah. They're still 2 games out of a playoff spot. Let's take a look at what the playoffs would look like if they started today in the NFL. And here you go. Playoffs. Kansas City would get the bye. Then you got the Jets versus Baltimore, Buffalo versus Tennessee, which would be a great game. New England and Miami, that would be a great game too. Philly holds the number 1 seed in the NFC. And then you got the Giants in Tampa Bay, Dallas versus Seattle, San Francisco versus Minnesota. And San Francisco is the team that the Lions are chasing right now. I don't know if the Lions can catch San Francisco, but I do believe that Dallas may fall a little bit. Tampa may fall a bit. We got a chance to beat the Giants this very weekend. Those are, I'm not on the playoff bandwagon, but the curtain hasn't closed completely.
Yeah, see, this is what happens. Like when you get a couple wins, you get some good wins. You start looking at things that are outside your reach, but you act like they're inside your reach. The Detroit Lions got 2 good wins, and that was my being nice and coming in. The problem, the first like last week I came in, I didn't trash them or talk about that was what the win was. This week I didn't do it, but I will say this. When you look at how the Lions got those wins, they got it. You look at that Chicago Bears. Look at that defense. They got rid of Roquan Smith and they got rid of Robert Quinn, and it definitely showed. That defense was horrible. Yeah. That they looked so bad. It was every zone, every throw, every spot, every ideology that the Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson had was right there for the taking. That doesn't happen when you have 2 defensive players.
They gave up 115 points in the last 3 games.
Exactly. So I'm saying, pipe down with the Detroit Lions making the playoff stuff. They had 2 good wins, but we know why.
Did you just tell me to pipe down?
I'm talking about not you, just the people talking Lions playoff
I'm
stuff.
the people.
Then pipe down.
I'm the one.
In that case, pipe down.
He is the people.
Then
He
I'm
is
telling
the
you,
people.
pipe down.
I am that Lions fan.
Okay, look. I'll give you this. They beat Green Bay.
Damn right.
Aaron Rodgers plays his worst game ever. Everybody gives Aiden Hutchinson credit for being in the right spot. Aiden Hutchinson was not in the right spot. If you look behind, what was behind Aiden Hutchinson? A wide open Bakhtiari. It was an awful throw by Aaron Rodgers. If you want to go to the Chicago Bears game, when they play against those teams are a little different. Giants is going to be a little different. It's a better coach team, and they got a better sense of what's going on. So it'll be interesting. I put it to you this way: they beat the Giants. That's a damn good win for them.
Well, let's talk more about the Lions and the Giants coming up this weekend next. Plus, we got Dan Miller joining us at 3:24.
Just a side note before you go anywhere.
Yeah,
Braylon, you weren't here yesterday. Ryan's back on the 10-win bandwagon. I just wanted to let you know that.
You know what else Ryan is on? That losing streak. And, usually losing streaks are bad, but when you're talking about weight, no, not bad at all. Custom Health has given Ryan the ability. I think he's already down 15, 20 pounds.
Look at this. This is what we're looking at.
This was pre-Ryan.
This was pre-custom.
Yeah, and this was only like a week and a half ago. He's a beautiful
man. It was like 2.5 weeks.
I loved every inch of him then.
Not like a month ago.
But I love the slimmer version now, and it's all thanks to Custom Health. And I'm telling you, Ryan has people coming up to him, asking him what his secret is. He's turning them over to Custom Health as well, and it's been working great.
The other thing about it, too, like when you go from this to you go where Ryan is now, the weight that he's lost, you feel good.
Yeah.
Like you wake up, you feel good. Like your back hurts less. Like you can do more. You have more energy. People notice the glow in you. You're able to work harder, but you're able to work not as hard, but get the same results because you're feeling good, the energy, and it's infectious. Everybody feels that energy. That's what I think Custom Health and losing weight brings more to the table is that.
Yeah, definitely. I talked about it earlier. I lost 50 pounds between last year and now, man. My knees are better. Like I can jump. I can just do things I wasn't able to do.
Softball's a little better.
Softball swings a little better. I can get around the bases a little bit faster.
Your sports opinions still suck, though.
Maz, you're about to eat that microphone in a minute. I'm going to tell you that much.
Yeah.
I'll give you a Custom Health meal right down your throat.
That was a good one, man.
He comes up with them once every year, so congrats, Maz. Yes, every single inch I love of Ryan Ermanni. You can too. Custom Health. Get it into your life if you're feeling like you need to lose a little bit of weight. Maz, when are you starting this?
I'm down 5, man. I'm trailing. I'm down 5. I'm not 15, but I'm down 5.
The race is on.
You're losing. That's a good part.
Little by little, baby.
You're losing the only race in life you want to lose.
Little by little.
Custom Health. Call the number at the bottom of the screen, 844-789-8446. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
Call today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Looking to buy, sell, or invest in a home, Michael Phillips is your guy. 23 years in the game, and he has been doing it at a high level. That's why he's number one, because experience is invaluable. Whether you're a player or a fan, helping you to invest is his top priority. And the family over there, Keller Williams Legacy in Dearborn, they do an amazing job of supporting him. Check this out, 313-403-0011. Game on. That's how you get involved.
You know, if you really want to become a truly competitive good team, that you have to stack some wins together. All the good ones do. And so just to eventually get on that path, get on that road, you gotta put 2 back to back, you know, and to be able to do it on the road, there again, a division opponent, I think those are big things for us, you know, especially with a young team, because that's how you grow up in a hurry. It's how you mature in a hurry. And so, you know, those things will serve you well as you continue to go down the road. So, you know, it's big, and But I know this, it's man, we're back to the next one now, and we got to go on the road again. It'll be a hostile environment. This is a good football team that knows how to win. They don't make mistakes. They have a good ground game. They have good defense. And so, this will be another challenge. But I feel like we're a little better suited now than we were when we started this season, I mean, we're kind of at the point now where we're progressing a little bit, but it's another one, and we have another big challenge.
And that video courtesy of DetroitLions.com. He's right on point with that, and we've talked a lot, and I've actually talked ad nauseum in terms of how to win. Well, you got to win. Like, learning to win, you got to win games, because what happens is that whether you're playing, and this is where it doesn't matter in the NFL. It doesn't matter if you're playing a team whose starting quarterback is out. It doesn't matter if you're playing a team that's not that typically good this year. Win is a win in the NFL because it's situational football. It's how you learn how to get better. So if you're the Detroit Lions and last week you play against the Green Bay Packers at home and with a chance to win the game, Green Bay goes on there towards the end, they almost win the game, but you see the plays that you made in that moment. You see that you got to Aaron Rodgers here. You see you created interceptions by Kirby Joseph here. Your young guys are finding out, I can make plays in this moment. Or I can be the guy that they had me be. This week, on the road, against Chicago and Justin Fields, and a young quarterback that's starting to kind of figure it out, and a young quarterback that is killing it on the ground with his feet. Now you get Aiden Hutchinson, sack him at the end of the game. You see Aiden Hutchinson pursue down the line of scrimmage on the red zone and then get the tackle on the running back so they don't get in. You see that as a player. Now you're like, we can win. I've been here before. So that when you're in games in the future, when you get in certain moments, you've won those moments before, so that's where you can pull from. You're like, oh, shoot, okay, this is just like this game. Or
We've
this
been
is like
down,
that.
we've come back.
100%. Now you get confidence. Now you get that BDE energy. You get that big dog energy about you. You know what I'm talking about. So now you get excited in those moments, and you feel a little better. You feel a little stronger, and you feel more confident. That's what happens when you string together a couple wins in a row. Because I guarantee you, going to play the Giants after these 2 wins in a row is very different for that team if they were to come off 2 losses in a row.
And it's different from young teams to older teams, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll equate this back to the Pistons a couple years ago when they had like the Blake Griffin on the squad. They had Rose and stuff like that. Those Those are veteran players. Winning to them doesn't mean as much because they've experienced that as part of their career.
Right.
But with a young team like the Detroit Lions have, you're right. Winning is more important than anything else. And once again, not to bring up Neil Rule, but I will argue winning is more important than draft capital. Winning is more important. Setting that culture and understanding how to win. Like the Lions this past weekend. They did something they haven't done since 1993. That was come back from a 14-point fourth quarter deficit entering the fourth quarter. 93. And then you go on top of that, they did something that they hadn't done since 1973. Scored a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, and an interception touchdown in the same game. That's 50 years removed from that.
Very
so
true.
when these young guys are starting to see that, hey, we're good. Remember Kirby Joseph in Hard Knocks? Like, y'all think I could actually play in the NFL? Y'all think I could play? You think he has to ask that question anymore? No, now he knows he belongs, and that's where winning really comes in handy, especially with these younger teams.
Hey, well, you brought up about the Giants, man. Saquon is coming. He's trying for comeback player of the year. He looks great. It's going to be hard to stop him. Now, Daniel Jones can run. All right, he might not be a great passer. He's a decent passer. He's like Geno Smith. He's a very short passing game. He is up there too on completion percentage. But they don't have great receivers on the team. Darius Slayton is playing good. They benched. What's his name again?
Galladay.
Yeah, Galladay got benched again last week.
$20 million.
He is he's not even getting on the field.
$20 million.
I think
sometimes it's the signings that you don't make.
I think you're going to see him this week because, let's face it, you don't think he wants a piece of the Lions this week. Maybe this will be his coming out party.
They did him
Who
a
knows?
favor.
But, can you stop the Giants' rushing game? Because that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, it's going to be the good thing. And, in terms of Geno Smith and Daniel Jones, obviously I got Geno Smith a little bit ahead in terms of him being a passing quarterback at West Virginia. But looking at it, they're going to hit you with a lot of different ways. They're going to hit you from a lot of different angles, too. Just talking about Saquon Barkley. Talking about Saquon Barkley out of the backfield, in the backfield screens. And honestly, they spread Saquon Barkley out as well and just run him man-to-man on a linebacker. That's a mismatch. So you'll get a lot of different looks from that out of Brian Daboll, is the master of the offensive coordinating position. But the Detroit Lions, they got to come in with that momentum that they're bringing in from the Green Bay game, from the Bears game on the road. They finally won on the road. Bring that energy in there, because when you look at it, when you break it down, and this is, if I'm Dan Campbell, this is what I tell my team. What about them is better than you? Like, this is how you got to have a conversation. Right. When you look at this offense, like if I'm talking to the defense, and I'm like, defense, what about that offense is better than the team you see every day? Tell me, a healthy, and this is how you motivate your man. You're telling me you wouldn't take a healthy DeAndre Swift over Saquon Barkley? Now, I know that I'm probably still taking Saquon Barkley, but for the sake of the conversation, right. You're telling me you wouldn't take our offensive line versus their offensive line? You wouldn't take our wide receivers versus their wide receivers? But see, that's how you motivate them. Right. So now you have subliminally
motivated.
Exactly. You've given them the energy, like, yo, you know what, they're right. The hell with their 6-2 record or whatever. They're still the New York Giants, and we're better than them. Nothing about that can be better than us. Their defense. Why is that defense better than this defense by name? Now, I know why statistically it's because of the fourth quarter. They shut it down in the fourth quarter, but that's how you motivate your troops. But you know when you can motivate your troops? When you're coming off 2 back-to-back wins. Yep. It's a little bit easier.
Belief.
It's a little bit easier to motivate when you're coming off 2 wins to divisional opponents.
Hey, the Texans hung in there with the Giants. Yeah. The Texans. So the freaking Lions, they got a shot here. They're only a 3-point underdog.
Yeah, the Giants aren't world beaters by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, they have a rookie head coach who may make some mistakes.
He's been terrific.
He has been terrific. I'm not going to knock him, but the time runs out for everybody.
Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator, has been calling. He's been the star.
That's it. Well, Saquon Barkley and Wink Martindale have been the stars.
Well, we got a special guest joining us next. He is the voice of the Detroit Lions, Dan Miller. He is going to be on with us next right here on woodwardsports.com and fox2detroit.com. So make sure you stick around for that interview. But Braylon, tell them about Moneyball, baby.
Oh, man, you got to check out Moneyball Sportswear Shop. It is your one-stop to sportswear. I'm telling you like this. Moneyball, I was here when they first got it going in 2012, and now it is the brand that you want to be a part of. Des Ferguson does an amazing job over there. Visit moneyballsportswear.com. You'll see me wear a lot of the hoodies, the jogging suits, the hats, the scullies, as well as the socks that I can't get enough of. Go to moneyballsportswear.com. You're going to see a lot from them coming and moving forward. Desmond Ferguson, Moneyball. I love it.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Time to talk about Swiss. Swiss Insurance Group and their employees are heavily involved in their community. It is very rewarding, but it comes with great responsibility. If you sit on a local youth sports board, homeowners association, or you volunteer as a director, Officers Insurance is a must. Make sure the kids, the parents, the volunteers are protected. And the best way to do that is see my man Mark over at Swiss Insurance Group.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Ermanni today. We are live on woodwardsports.com plus fox2detroit.com. And Braylon, Moneyball, you were just talking about them before the break. You're going to be out at the one in Southfield that's literally right by my house.
Very excited.
Black Friday.
Very excited to be partnered up with Moneyball now. I'll be out there on Black Friday, 11 to 12. We'll be hanging out, signing some autographs. Great discounts, great prices. All you do is just come in there, you mention Woodward Sports, and they'll have it set up for you. I'm excited, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. I remember when they started it till now. I can't wait.
Yeah, shout out to Desmond Ferguson and another great partnership that was announced last week. Woodward Sports and Fox 2, and we are proud to bring on Dan Miller. He is your Lions radio voice plus the Fox 2 sports director. And it looks like he is in a downtown metropolitan area right now.
It's like in a Tonight Show type feel.
Hit the bus B for us over there, Fletch. You got it? All right, cool. Maz, go ahead and ask Dan a question.
Hey, Dan, welcome into the show. We appreciate having you here, man. Sorry Ryan's out for the day, as you already know. Was subbing in for him. But I saw that video of you, of course, on the radio, yelling your heart out again to take that man to the ground. Justin Fields, what a beast this guy is. But that's a great win, man. Dan, we're having a hard time hearing you. I'm sorry to cut you off here.
Is your mic muted, Dan?
Are you muted?
So we got you coming in good on our end.
Nope, can't hear you yet. Damn.
But you can hear it on
the... All right, let's bring Dan down for a minute, and we'll figure something out here. We apologize. Dan Miller, of course, very kindly joining us here from Fox 2.
Yeah, this and every Tuesday he's going to be on in the 3 o'clock hour, so it's going to be... And if you guys have any questions that you want to ask Dan, come on and let us know in the woodwardsports.com chat right now. Fletch, you're saying he's good? No. Okay.
Saying that's on the other side, if you will.
Yeah, he's saying it's...
We're going to have to hang up and try again.
Some technical difficulties, but either way...
It's a part of business.
Yeah.
Well, happens in the business.
Well, either way, one of the things that we were talking about, and Maz brought this up, was Saquon Barkley coming back and being the comeback player of the year. Another guy that's thrown his hat in that ring as of late is Jeff Okudah.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody had him in that conversation earlier this year, but after last game and what he's been doing on the field, literally, as Jeff Okudah has improved, so has the Lions defense.
Yeah. What I need people to stop doing, and this is all the fans out there that get so hung up on Jeff Okudah being the 3rd pick overall, Jeff Okudah being a bust, Jeff Okudah never being able to be what you expect out of a 3rd pick overall. You need to stop that conversation. You need to stop thinking about it in that light. It's happened. He got drafted 3rd overall. He didn't ask to. He got drafted. He got hurt. Wrong regime. Here he is now. Judge the player from what you see since he's been on the field this year and what does it look to be improving. As I watch Jeff Okudah each week, I'm noticing improvements in his game. I'm noticing he trusts himself more. I'm noticing his technique is better. I watched a play in this game in the second half stick. There was a route in which it was man-to-man coverage. Jeff Okudah was on Chase Claypool. It was on the right sideline. Chase Claypool, he ran, I want to say a comeback, try to run like a funky version of a comeback. Jeff Okudah, line of scrimmage, hand in his face, jammed him, got in rotation, stayed in there with him. Notice when Claypool started to slow down a little bit, he turned his hips, flipped around, ran the route for Chase Claypool, and damn near got an interception. That wasn't the interception for a pick six. But those are the type of things that he's starting to do. He's playing some good football, and it only looks like he's getting better. Not to mention, he's going in there, not necessarily reckless abandonment, but he's going there very physical, and he's trying to make plays. Jeff Okudah is playing at a level that you definitely didn't think he could get to, and now you just want to get better. Just relax and see how it happens.
Yeah, it was funny during the game. I'm like, what happened to Chase Claypool? Did he get hurt? What happened? And so it was actually during the post game when Anson and I were on here at woodwardsports.com, and I literally said, what happened to Chase Claypool? And someone in the comment section, Jeff Okudah happened.
He's right.
To Chase Claypool. And if it turns into he could shut down half the field, my goodness, what an advantage that's going to be for the entire defense and for the defensive coordinator, too.
100%, man. That's what you really want out of a lockdown, shutdown quarterback. You want him to be able to cover a third of the field. Because the field is split into thirds. There's there's field corner, there's safeties, and then there's boundary corner. That's how the field is broke up. If he can become that field corner, is locking up a third or 33% of the field, that's going to spell amazing. And then you get Aiden Hutchinson and Pascal comes along, and they start getting to the quarterback, because as they go, everybody goes. If Okudah's locking guys down, if Okudah's locking guys down, giving Aiden Hutchinson a couple more seconds to get around to a quarterback, now you're getting coverage sacks. If Aiden Hutchinson's flying off that line of scrimmage and getting to the quarterback, now the quarterback's throwing some ill-timed, ill-advised throw. Now you're getting a pressure interceptions. It's a give and take on offense. Okudah balls, Aiden Hutchinson balls. Aiden Hutchinson balls, Okudah in the secondary balls.
Well, and it's nice to think now we at least have a player at 2 levels on defense. We're missing the linebacker, right?
Yeah, still missing linebacker.
But the Lions absolutely have a star in the defensive backfield and absolutely have a star on the defensive line. Now you're just looking for that second-level player, which it could potentially be addressed in the draft, could potentially be addressed in free agency. Because I know Alex Anzalone ain't the long-term answer.
He never was.
He tries, and I'm never going to take that away from him.
As you shouldn't.
You know, like, it'd be like me out there. I'd give it my all, but I just ain't got enough.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and everybody was making all big about Rigo early on in the year and in training camp, and then I'm like, look, man, you guys don't have a linebacker yet, but that will come. The good thing about it is, the best thing about the Detroit Lions as of right now is they are in a position that they have structures set up for the 2023 season. And I know nobody wants to talk about the 2023 season because it's still in 2022.
Right.
But the best thing going about the Detroit Lions and this particular regime right now, you got 2 wins over Green Bay and then Chicago back-to-back. You got 5 picks in the top 65 picks next year. You got $9 million back off Hockenson in terms of the free agency space, in terms of your money. So now you're able to get some guys in free agency, will and deal some guys, and also make a splash in the draft. That's the best thing going for the Detroit Lions right now.
Yeah, to me, one of the best things going for them is they've already tied their win total of last year.
And you got young
They're
players.
They're playing with house money right now.
And you're noticing
right?
some young players. You're seeing some young players.
Yep.
You're seeing Okudah. You're seeing Kirby Joseph. You're seeing Aiden Hutchinson figure it out. You're hoping that Jamison Williams is going to be what you think, which I believe he is. So you're seeing that as well as that Penei Sewell. We always forget to mention Penei Sewell's name because we're so caught up in this draft and Okudah. Penei Sewell is going to be a gold jacket. He's on that type of trajectory. So the young guys are balling right now. That looks good. So now you have some wiggle room next year, off season.
Yeah, and then, not to get too far ahead of it, but then look beyond that. Like 2024, everything's off the books. They got like $97 million. They can go do whatever the hell they want in free agency. And by that time, do they have their rookie quarterback or their young quarterback that they drafted or acquired? Perhaps. But I'm just excited for the Lions to the point of 2 weeks ago, it was, we got to start the rebuild all over again. It was Dan Campbell doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Adam wrote a damn article saying Dan Campbell should work at McDonald's.
I did see that. I did see that.
Like that's what we like to call throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? Like getting a little too aggressive, getting a little too excited.
That's what you call losing credibility.
Well, there is that too. But and also, like the term patience was thrown around, and we want instant gratification as fans, and you want instant gratification, especially as a Lions fan.
Because you've seen it too.
Right.
And I think part of that is fair because you've seen it happen. You see Zach Taylor in Cincinnati, year 2, he goes to a Super Bowl. You see Sean McVay and how he got that thing turned around. You look at Robert Saleh this year. You look at Brian Daboll.
That's part of it too. So like with Daboll and Saleh doing it, it's like, why can't we?
Exactly.
And that puts more pressure. Jeff Saturday just won on the road. Took Dan Campbell 13 tries.
It puts more pressure on it, especially when there's consistent in-game situations, when there's consistent times where you see that the coach did not put the team in the right position, that the coach chose to make a call that you don't agree with, or that most people in the business of professional football don't agree with. That's when you have the problem. Like when you're making some calls and it's some hairy ones, or you're showing, hey, you know what, I trust my team, I'm gonna go for it. It's cool with that. But when you're making consistent plays that the national media, as well as everybody is talking about, like, what is this guy doing? Then it causes you to say, okay, cool, it's not just me. Right. That was a bonehead call. So,
Yeah, no, that's one thing I took away from this past game as well is you can trust Dan Campbell now. Like, I didn't love going for it on that 4th down. It was a great play call, though.
Early on in the game?
Yeah, early on.
But see, I was cool with that one.
Were you?
This is why I was cool with that one. Stick, you watched that play.
A great play call.
It was a hell of a great play call. And soon as the announcers, I want to say it was Mark and Kugler. As soon as Kugler said come in motion, or they said the Bears have the best 4th down conversion defense in the NFL. As soon as he said that, I said it's gonna be a touchdown.
Got him.
I said it's a touchdown because they always jinx him when you do that. It was a great play call, but here's the other side of that, Stick. If they don't get it, it's 1st and goal, going 99 yards for Justin Fields and the team that can't pass. All they do is run the ball with the quarterback.
I know, but damn Lions, that's a 99-yard touchdown run waiting to happen too.
Yeah.
Like we've seen it. I just didn't love it because you used your strength on third down. It was 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. You get that beautiful play, I thought, to DeAndre Swift on the edge. I thought Swift tried to extend that play too much instead of planting that right foot and attacking
and going
right
in
away.
between the tackle
it was
and sideline,
one-on-one. It was one-on-one, but he tried to beat him to the edge, and then the wide receiver lost his block. They were able to double him down. But to me, it's like you use your running card, and that's your strength, and you didn't get it. But then you went back and put Goff in the shotgun on 4th down. I don't love that. It made me uncomfortable, but I'm a results-oriented guy. So if it happens, it happens.
I would say it like this. If he goes for it, which he does, and then they don't get it because they do a play that you like, they just try to run with Jamal and it doesn't work, or they try some stuff that doesn't work, or they come up with a plan, like they don't have a plan and they go for it on 4th down, then I get mad and then I say, you know what? Just like the Lions have consistently done. But in that situation, they went for it. They came with a plan. It was a hell of a play call and design. Something like that. I'm like, you know what? They had a plan. I like it.
Well, we got a plan too, and that is to bring Dan Miller on next. We got the technical difficulties figured out, and we will be bringing Dan Miller on next. Thank you guys for hanging out on WoodwardSports.com and Fox2Detroit.com. But let's go to break real quick and tell them about SMA, Braylon.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health as well as substance abuse disorder. Their podcast, This is the S word, and the S word stands for stigma, because we're trying to destigmatize mental health, tell you that it is okay to not be okay. And also with abuse disorder, we're also trying to let you know, give you the outlets. If you are someone that abuses, if you're someone that uses too much, if you're someone that has an issue or has a problem, but you're scared to go somewhere, we got the place for you to go. Go to thesportsma.com. They provide all the conversation, they give you all the information, because guess what? When you drink too much, that is a disease, and it's okay, but it's okay to go get the right information. Go have the conversation so that you know where you can go clean yourself up and get it right. Go to thesportsma.com. It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh, wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You can get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The Bacon Blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries, what will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right, a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog and Novi. Just stop in, tell them we sent you, and they will print you one on the spot. So go to Big Frog Novi today and get your free t-shirt, or visit them online at bigfrog.com/Novi.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Ermanni today. Thank you to everybody watching on WoodwardSports.com and Fox2Detroit.com. I think we got it figured out, so let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend, Dan Miller, Lions radio voice and Fox 2 sports director. Dan, how you feeling, man?
I'm good. If you
there we go. 100%.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, it's great to hear you, Dad.
Good to talk to you too, Dan.
Hey, man, we left you before. I asked you that question, that great viral cut that's on the Lions put it out. You making that last call. Get that guy down. Get him down. Justin Fields. What a beast that kid is. But the Lions with a great win, Dan.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, just that 4th down play alone, guys, I think I've watched that thing probably 30 times. And it just, every time I see something different, from the fact that he stays up for over 10 seconds to the fact that Anzalone and Okwara both were on the ground after having spun off him and got back up and got in the play. It's really just an amazing look at what desire is on both sides. He's a phenomenal athlete, runner, strong lower body, man, just incredible. And you got some dudes that were just trying to do anything in the world to get him down, and it was just a battle of wills. And you know, for all the ones that we've seen go against the Lions, that was one you're thankful they were able to figure out, but it took a lot of effort.
Yeah, I was screaming at the television and at the officials blow the whistle too, because I thought they were letting it go a little too long, because you know they can't throw the quarterback to the ground, and all I could see in my head was the Eli Manning play, in the Super Bowl, where he was pretty much sacked. They didn't blow the whistle, and he was able to spin out and throw the ball to David Tyree. Dan, it's a pleasure to talk to you. One of the questions as a professional broadcaster that you've been for so many years. You're able to keep the energy and the excitement up no matter what this team is doing on the field. And as a listener, it's so enjoyable to share that experience with somebody who's just as excited as I am, even though the team is not as good as I think we all hope it is. How are you able to keep that faith every day coming into work when you're working for a team like the Lions, who traditionally hasn't been a winner?
Well, I think every game has a life of its own, and I think that's the way you look at it. And I think that, you know, and thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that, Stick. But I think you go back to even, you know, the 0-16 season when Jim Brandstatter and I were going through that, and we would just say to each other all the time, just call the next play. Just call the next play. You're not worried about what the big picture is. You're not worried about what the record is. There's a game happening in front of you. It's a game that's got a life of its own. It's a game that's going from play to play to play. And you can figure out what it means in the grand scheme of things later if you have to. But on any given Sunday, a team can win a game. You spend all week thinking about if they do X, Y, and Z, they can win this. So kick it off, find out whether or not they can do it. And that kind of gives you the ability to go in with a clean slate, be excited about it. And look, guys, it's at its core, you're getting paid to talk about a game for a living, a game you love, a game you'd be watching anyway. So, you know, through the tough times or whatever else, you never lose sight of that. And I'm blessed to be able to do what I do.
Dan, good to talk to you. I'm also excited about the partnership we have now, Fox 2 and WoodwardSports.com. I can't wait to get this thing rolling in the right direction. But just going back to the last 2 weeks, you look at 2 weeks ago, the Detroit Lions, where the team's mindset is, where the team's morale is, where the people around the city are thinking about Dan Campbell and just the rest of the team, versus now 2 wins in a row, 2 divisional opponents, and now you're going into the Giants. Talk about what these 2 wins have kind of done for Dan Campbell and the mindset and the morale of the Detroit Lions. Yeah,
good to talk to you, Braylon. And I'm very excited about working with you guys as well, and looking forward to it. And let me just, before I even get to the Lions, let me throw this in just so people understand. And you live this life, so you know what it is. I was talking to a guy in Chicago who covers the Bears and is with them every day, and he basically said, look, 3.5 weeks ago, they wanted to run Justin Fields out of town.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, he's the best thing since sliced bread. They're not winning, but he's racking up the yards. So it doesn't take much to get sentiment going in your direction. And as far as the Lions are going, you know, what you said earlier is exactly right. Look, these wins have tremendous value to this team because of the young guys on this team that have never been in these high leverage situations in the NFL and won. And yet in the last 2 weeks, they were able to slam the door on Aaron Rodgers, and they weren't even going to allow Justin Fields to get going on that final drive. I mean, he never got past his 32-yard line.
32,
so,
yeah.
I mean, these are moments that these guys, as you said a moment ago, can bank. And when you get in them later, you've been there, you've been successful, you know what it takes. And the recipe has been both games they've won the turnover battle. It was Chicago that was committing all the penalties that were shooting themselves in the foot. And that's what the Lions have been doing earlier this year, was losing the turnover battle and shooting themselves in the foot with penalties. So, look, it's you can write it down. It's not that complicated. The execution is where it gets complicated. In the last 2 weeks, they have executed it better.
Hey, Dan, between being in D.C. back in the day, I've seen lots of coaches here with Detroit. I just want to get your take on Dan Campbell. Where do you put him as a head coach right now in his second year with the Lions?
I think it's being written. I mean, I think it'd be foolish for me to sit here and say that he's going to be great or he's going to be terrible or something.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you are what your record says you are. He took over a bad football team. They're trying to do it with young players. They're trying to figure things out along the way. I think there's a lot of things about him I love. The players love him. I think he's great for the city. I think he understands what Detroit football is. But when all is said and done, it's going to come down to that record. And I can talk about all the boxes that he checks along the way, but it ultimately is about performance. It ultimately is about winning. But I think, to me, the thing that I'm seeing that gives me faith in thinking that this thing can work is the young players developing. It's Jeff Okudah. It's Kirby Joseph. It's Jerry Jacobs. It's Aleem McNeil. It's Aiden Hutchinson. It's guys that are getting better as young players. For a long time here in Detroit, we didn't have a lot of guys that got to second contracts because they flame out. If you're not developing guys and your coaching staff can't teach them what it is to play in the NFL, you're never going to be successful. And I think these coaches, there's tangible evidence that these guys are coming along, figuring it out, getting better. And to me, that's the most important thing, because you have to get that pipeline of talent going when you draft these players. It's great to say, we're going to build this thing through the draft. But if you're just picking players and you're not helping them get better and teaching them what it is to play in this league, it doesn't matter. It's not going to work. It's they've got to get better. And that's where I would say I'm getting hope from what the future may hold. But as far as Campbell, look, love the guy, love what he brings, but he'd be the first to tell you that ultimately they have to win games for him to be the guy.
Yeah, and to double down on your comment, Jeff Okudah said that at the beginning of last season when he started getting coached by Dan Campbell and crew. He said, I got a whole bunch of new tools in my bag that I'd never had before. So to me, you're dead on, spot on that. These guys not only are getting the talent, but they're able to coach them up. And Braylon, what did you want to ask?
The last question I wanted to ask, too, I think when you talk about, what does success look like finishing this year for Dan Campbell? When people ask that question, it's like people often always go to the win total. You often always go to how many wins did the team have. For you, Dan, because you seem like you're like me, like where it's the intangibles, like you can find some other things. What does success look like for Dan Campbell finishing this particular season?
Well, I do think winning was important. I mean, look, you couldn't finish this thing 1-16, 2-15, 3-14. You got to win some games. You got to take some steps. These guys have to understand what it feels like to win. But along the way, the encouraging thing is seeing the young guys be the driving force behind those wins. Because, look, these are the guys that have to be the future. And I do believe at some point they're going to, and probably this offseason, go out and get more veteran help. Go out and get more aggressive in terms of improving the roster. I think, reading the tea leaves, they wanted to add a couple classes of young players that would be the base, the core, whatever you want to call it, and bring them along and then figure out, okay, how do we supplement this thing? Is it a pass rusher? Is it somebody in the secondary? Is it a linebacker? Whatever it is. And I think that's the key. But to me, the rest of the season looks like the last 2 weeks. Winning games and your young players giving you reason to believe that they're part of the solution, not part of the problem that ultimately has to be replaced.
Speaking of these young players, obviously Kirby Joseph is doing some things well. You look at Jeff Okudah, we just talked about it, Stick talked about him getting into his bag and getting better. Where would you assess Aiden Hutchinson after 10 games or after 9 games? Where's Aiden Hutchinson to you? Yes.
Getting better.
Yes.
I mean, just look at the game on Sunday and look, you talked about it a moment ago. You can look at several plays in that game. The play at the goal line, David Montgomery is a big, tough running back. And Aiden picked him up and threw him down. I mean, that was an incredible play. The pick six, you saw Aiden grow up right there. The tight end let him go. Aiden said, hey, man, something's not right. And he backed up into coverage. Fields had to pump, couldn't do anything. And then all of a sudden, the pressure got to Fields. He threw it up for grabs, and Okudah takes it away. Yep. So I think those two, and then I think, the sack, they had a double team coming at him. He got around it, and he made the sack. I think you're looking at a guy that's making plays, getting better, but it just takes a while, man. I mean, look, he's a rookie finding out that every tackle in this league can block. Every tight end at 265 pounds in this league can block. It's not like it was last year at Michigan where you're just the best player on the field and you can run through guys. It's about having a move, a counter move. He certainly seems more comfortable now in a two-point stance. I see a guy that's getting better. I see a guy that has a burning desire to get better, and I think he's just fine. I think you're seeing it now.
I love it.
Hey, Dan, last one. Everyone in the chat wants to know this. I want to know it. This is the question that all Lion fans want to know. You're the general manager in April. What are you doing with your first 2 picks? Dan Miller.
I mean, look, you got to figure out, I think, is Jared Goff your guy? I think that's a key part of it. And look, we all know that it's the most important position in all of sports. So that's one thing you got to figure out. But I think defense is a big part of what this team has to do. And if there's defensive players there that are difference makers, I think that's what you have to look at. I mean, there's a lot of this season left for guys to define themselves that could impact what you're going to do in the draft. There's free agency before that draft even takes place that could impact what you're going to do in the draft. Look, the biggest question that has to be answered, we all know, is quarterback. And Goff is trying to prove that he's the guy and that he can be the guy to lead this team. And that's a critical question that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have to answer and figure out. You got 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. You got a lot of ammunition to move around if you need to move around. But I'll be honest with you guys, the quarterbacks in this class scare me to death. and you commit to one of these guys and they're not the guy, that can set your program back. So I don't claim to have the answers, but I will tell you the answers can be tough to come by.
No doubt.
Well, Dan Miller, hey, Jen Hammond.
There she is.
People were asking about the doll in the chat, in the WoodwardSports.com chat.
I know. I was watching the chat and I saw it, and so Dan's going to explain. This is our Birchie doll.
No, you're going to explain that.
I don't. It's a Malibu Barbie that it's a man. It's a Ken. But we just named it Birchie. Yeah. Because Will Birchfield,
long flowing blonde locks. Yes,
looks like a Barbie doll, a male Ken doll, really, if you will.
Well, good for him. Good for Will.
Shorts with the cuff.
You never know what
man.
you're going to see on our walls, guys.
the shorts with the cuffs. That's very reminiscent of 1990. What's going on, Ham?
I'll come visit too pretty soon with some sliced pizza from my friends.
Or it might be time to go to Market North. That's all I'm saying.
There we go.
I like it there too.
There we go.
Well, that's another reason why we're so excited for this Fox 2 partnership with WoodwardSports.com. Not only do we get access to the voice of the Lions like Dan Miller, Jennifer Hammond, absolute legend in the city. There's no other network that we would
was my
have
first
rather
interview after a big game.
Yeah,
was the Hammer.
Oh, really?
First interview after the big game in Michigan was the Hammer.
Awesome. Well, every Tuesday, right here on Ermanni and Edwards, this man right here, Dan Miller, will be joining the show. Thank you for your time today, Dan. We look forward to talking to you every week because, honestly, we could talk for the next 5 hours about the Lions if you wanted to.
Thanks, Dano.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thank
Dan,
you very
appreciate
much.
you, brother.
Good working with you guys. Looking forward to it.
Pleasure.
Yeah, Dan Miller, the first of many appearances by Fox 2 right here on WoodwardSports.com. We will be right back with Maz. Tell him a little bit about that folding warehouse.
Oh, man. Who doesn't love to go folding?
Dan's at the folding warehouse.
2 ways to play. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation. You get it for $120, but you get 2 hours on your own with 10 or 12 of your closest friends. Any drink you want, multiple full bars, over 100 beers to offer as well, and the $2 mystery beer machine. Bring your own food in or have it delivered. Get your fold on. Check it out at foldingwarehouse.com.
Thanksgiving is all about family and friends. That's why Woodward Sports wants to send you and your crew front row for the Thanksgiving Day football game.
Easy there. Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
That's right, you and 3 people that you're thankful for sitting in row number 1. So close you can hear the action, smell the excitement, and taste the glory of Detroit football. All you have to do to enter is retweet or share our post on Twitter and IG and tag 3 of your friends or family. If all 3 of those people are following Woodward Sports 2 and we pick your name, you and your crew will all get the best seats inside Ford Field. So hop on Twitter and Instagram and tag your crew. And we'll see you Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. Brought to you by Lady Jane's and Custom Health Centers.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Planet Fitness is the official studio sponsor of Woodward Sports. Also home of the Judgment Free Zone, where you can work out for only $10 a month.
Only $10?
Only $10. Or upgrade to the Black Card for unlimited guest privileges, hydro massage, and more. Join in club today or go to planetfitness.com.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Ermanni today. We're running a little long with Dan Miller, so we only got about 2 minutes left in the show.
Hey, Wings and Ducks tonight from Anaheim, and Tyler Bertuzzi is back. Hopefully the Red Wings can turn it around and get some wins on the road here.
Yeah, they started out the season red hot.
Yep.
Water finds its level.
Yeah, they're hitting a little streak here, but it's tough to win out west.
It's tough to win in any professional sport, period. But, Flannel Sam, thank you for filling in today. I know JB was out sick, and he's going to be out the rest of the week, so you guys will be treated to Flannel Sam during the Ermanni and Edwards show with Maz.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
Great to have you, Flannel.
Thank you. The original crew, man.
Hey,
how it started. It's like
we got to give hats off to Flannel. Not only was his birthday yesterday, but he had his wedding reception last Friday.
Yeah, he did.
What a great time. What a great family you have, Sam. And Nikki, you lucked out. Sam, you lucked out with Nikki. But you should have seen these guys on the dance floor, man. This guy is wicked. He is wicked.
An absolute animal.
He doesn't stop.
And we got to acknowledge that Flannel Sam's dad is like jumping in a time machine and going forward 40 years.
Yes.
And it's literal. It's Flannel Sam. Like his dad is Flannel Sam.
It's
and
amazing.
your mom is awesome as well too. But yeah, it was a nice family experience there. We had Easy from the Heavyweights was there, Justin was there, I was there, Maz was there. The open bar drew me in, and next thing you know, those tequila shots were flowing.
How about those Coney dogs at the end of the night?
Coney dogs were delicious.
Coney dogs, nothing wrong with Coney dogs.
Nice job, Sam. Thanks for having us.
Did you have a good time at your reception?
Dude, I had like the best time, and having you guys all there, my family, my wife's family, it was an all-around good time. My sister was the DJ too, so I got
She did a great job.
I got a lot of pull when it came to the song, so that's probably why I was out there dancing all the time, because if I don't like a song, that's when I usually went to the bar.
I heard a lot of Beatles, which I dig.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yes. Best band ever.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Sam. Hope you have a long and happy marriage. Like Maz said, Nikki is a wonderful girl, and all I can imagine is you guys having dance parties in your living room every night of the week.
Hey, we've had quite a few. Maybe not every night, but we get down. We get down when it's time to get down.
We boogie.
Well, we love the family atmosphere here at Woodward Sports. Braylon, you talk about it all the time. Like, we family. We work together, but we're family.
100%. Like, when we extend out here, we're friends outside of, the building here on Woodward and Brown Street. So we're friends outside that. We don't just mix it up here. We mix it up outside.
And how great is it to be with Fox, too? They're part of the family as well now.
Yeah. I mean, even me and Maz, we're family, right, Maz?
We are, man. We are.
I love you and your wrong opinion.
I love you and your wrong opinion.
You show me a family that doesn't fight, and I'll show you a liar that says that.
Well, then we're definitely a family around here. WoodwardSports.com, Fox2Detroit.com. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Ermanni will be back tomorrow. The full show will be here.
Yes, sir.
Have a great snowy-ass Tuesday here in Detroit.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.